Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto found out that he was a full-blooded demon Kitsune. Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. 8 years ago, a great demon came to the land of Konoha. This demon, the Kyuubi, was a great fox with 9 tails which was told to hold so much power that one swing could destroy mountains, tear a forest down with a swift swing, or burn a village down with a single breath. When the fox attacked Konoha, the village leader, Minato Namikaze, tried all he could to repel the beast. When all else failed, Minato took his newborn son from his wife, Kushina Uzumaki. As he held his son for the first and last time, Minato summoned the boss toad, Gamabunta, and ordered him to hold the beast while he sealed it within his son. Before hopping on the giant toad's head, the Yondaime Hokage turned to his elderly master, Jiraiya the Toad Sage, and Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage. He proclaimed to both men that he respected more than any other man. My son, Naruto, shall be the jailer. He shall face many hardships, pains, and sufferings. I have faith in my heir, faith that he can put the power of the Kyuubi to good use. I ask for one thing, one small thing that will cost everyone in this village nothing. I ask for my son to be seen as the hero that he is. As the jailer, not the prisoner. With his speech made, the beloved fourth Hokage jumped upon the summoned boss toad and jumped towards the Kyuubi, already going through the hand seals needed for the forbidden jutsu needed to seal the great demon inside his son. Soon all ninja heard their great hero yell, Shiki Fujin Jutsu, and the Kyuubi was gone. No one saw the death god floating behind the dying Kage as he handed his son to Jiraiya and said with his last breath, a hero, he is a hero. With his last mission complete, the greatest Kage the Hidden Leaf village had ever seen to date died. Sarutobi tried to explain things to the village council about the boy. Sadly, he messed up by telling them that the boy had the Kyuubi sealed within him before mentioning that he was Minato's son. In a last-ditch effort to save the boy from the assassins that would surely be coming for the boy if his heritage became known. To prevent this, he named the boy Naruto Uzumaki after his mother until such time he was strong enough to take on his father's enemies. 8 years later. It had been 8 years since the Kyuubi attack and the village had fully repaired itself. It was a bright and sunny day when a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, orange jumpsuit-wearing child exited the Konoha General Hospital. This would make the 12th time this week the boy had left this hospital. Sadly, the village respected the fourth as a Kage. They did not, however, respect his last wishes and shunned Naruto, not knowing that he was his son. It was a daily routine for the boy to get beat by the villagers by breakfast, stabbed by a ninja by lunch, and poisoned by someone trying to help out the orphan. The boy could not think of one time where he could walk down the street of his village without the villagers glaring, throwing things, pulling their children away from him in fear, or yelling things he did not understand at him. He had asked one of his only friends, the third Hokage, why they did these things, but he continued to say that he did not know, but that one day they would pay. As Naruto walked the street again, he saw the glares and heard the whispers of him. Finally, having enough, the boy ran to his friend to demand answers, and this time I don't know was not an answer he was willing to accept. Old man, I want answers, and I want them now, yelled the distraught blonde. Why do they hate me? Answer me, and no more of this I don't know crap, please Gigi, I have to know. Sarutobi sat behind his desk as his surrogate grandson had busted through his door and started screaming. He leaned back in his chair and said, I am sorry Naruto-kun, I am not at liberty to tell you the answer to the question yet. I know you go through hard things each day because of this, but you must understand that mentally you are not ready to handle the answer. When the day comes we will discuss many things, but that day is not today. The child was quiet for a moment but finally spoke. When he did, his voice was defeated and had a dead feeling to it. I understand, Gigi, I will wait. Raise your head, my child. Today has meaning for a day of a great surprise, said the old Kage as the blonde's eyes instantly lit up at the thought of a surprise. You have been enrolled into the Ninja Academy, and will start there in 2 months from now. The 8-year-old instantly lost his saddened look as he forgot about the pain temporarily as he yelled in excitement. It took the Hokage many minutes to calm him down to hand him a big sack of money. Now go, Naruto, and buy all the equipment you think you will need, said the Kage, noticing that his grandson's face fell as quickly as it had risen. What is wrong, Naruto-kun? Gigi, the stores will not sell me anything, said the now depressed blonde. How about this then? Tomorrow I shall accompany you to help you pick your things. That way the stores cannot deny you service with me there. I'll meet you here at noon? Asked the elder as the blonde had tears in his eyes from joy. Okay, Gigi. I'll see you tomorrow, yelled the blonde as he ran out, yelling he would be the best ninja and become Hokage. Naruto's apartment, night time. That night, after a dinner of instant ramen and water, Naruto was ready for bed but could not figure out why he felt so weird. It had started when Naruto left the hospital that morning and gotten worse as the day continued. As Naruto contemplated what it could be, he felt a sudden tug in his gut and everything went black. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was just coming to when he felt wetness on his back. His eyes shot open as he heard crying. As he looked around, he saw what looked like a sewer all around him. As the child listened, he heard the sound coming from deeper in the tunnel. Naruto walked for a few minutes, and soon was in front of a large cage with a slip of paper on it with the word seal written on it. What is this place? Thought the blonde. All of a sudden he heard the crying again, this time coming from the inside of the cage. Naruto found that the sound was louder, and knew he was getting closer, so he ran past the bars of the cage, and saw a sight of what he would later describe as seeing an angel. Naruto saw a woman with waist-length red hair. She had a black kimono with a blood-red sash and red high heels. Her face was so enticing that Naruto almost missed her most important feature, the 9 tails swaying behind her. With further inspection, Naruto found that the angel before him was the maker of the crying, as he saw tears sliding down her perfect face. "Excuse me, miss, are you okay?" asked the blonde as he came up to her, and put his arms around her waist, giving her a hug, trying to help her. "Just tell me who did this to you and I'll make them pay. No one so beautiful as you deserves to be treated so badly that they cry." "Please do not say that," said the woman. "I am not worth your words. Me, the being that has caused all your suffering and pain." "But I have never met you before," said the confused blonde. "How can one as beautiful and sweet as you be so bad? If you only knew who I was, then you would not say such things. I am a monster to torment one as sweet, kind, forgiving, and cute child, such as yourself," said the woman, making the blonde blush a deep shade of red. "Try me, what have you got to lose?" asked the blonde. "If your life is as bad as you say, you have nothing to lose but everything to gain." "Alright, I shall try you, Naruto-san," said the woman as she took a deep breath to calm herself. "My name is Kyubi no Kitsune, otherwise known as the 9-tailed fox. I was sealed inside of you at your birth by your father, the Yondaime Hokage." "Okay, wasn't expecting that," stammered the blonde as Kyubi started to cry again. "One question though. Why did you attack my village?" asked the boy, too caught up in his emotions to catch the last part. "I swear to Kami-sama that it was not my fault," pleaded the fox demon. "I was sleeping in one of my dens when something woke me up with a twig snapping. As I opened my eyes, I saw red eyes and then nothing. The next thing that I know, I am being sealed within you by your father. Sadly, your mother died soon after from an illness unknown to most doctors except your godmother, Senju Tsunade. Your godfather Jiraiya and she are 2 of the 3 Sannin of Konoha." "So you did not mean to attack?" questioned the blonde just to make sure. "No, and if your father were here, he would tell you that I am mostly a calm and gentle spirit," explained the demoness. "Okay then, see, was that so hard?" asked the blonde to the woman. "Can I call you something else though? Kyubi is a scary name. You're not scary to me, so I'd like to call you something that fits. How about Q, short, simple, and lovely?" "Q? I like it. Can we possibly be friends, Naruto-kun? I would very much like to be your friend," asked the frightened fox, scared the blonde would say no. "I thought we already were friends, to be honest," laughed the blonde. "Then as your new friend, I have a few gifts for you," said the fox as she got ready to surprise her blonde friend. "Gifts?" asked the curious blonde. "What kind of gifts?" "My summoning contract for my clansmen." Kyubi laughed, as she performed some hand seals and summoned a 3-tailed, blue fox. "Hello, Soul-san, please bring me the summoning contract for our clan. Naruto-kun here is going to become our first summoner." "Why yes, Mistress Kyubi-sama," the fox hollered before making a hand signs and bringing forth a giant scroll. With his new friend's help, Naruto signed the contract, and became the first Kitsune summoner. "Thank you, Soul-san. You may return to Maki now," informed the female fox. "Thank you, Q-chan, but there is one thing that is bothering me. I really am glad that you allowed me your kinsman's summoning contract, but I am not a ninja and am only starting the academy in 2 months. I don't think I am ready. I don't want to be the dead last of my class. Do you think you can help me, Q-chan?" rambled the worried blonde. "Well, Naruto-kun, your father did ask me to train you so that you can be the best ninja you can be." The fox demoness laughed, not realizing her mistake for the second time during the conversation. "There it is again," the child shouted. "I was wondering why you said that before. That my father told you to train me. If you know who he is, please tell me." "Gigi knows, but he will not tell me." "Please, I must know who he is. If you know, please tell me." By the time the boy was done, there was a river of tears going down his whiskered face. Kyubi had realized earlier that she had said it, but surprisingly the boy did not seem to grasp the idea that his father was named already. "Oh well, shit, Naruto, I knew your father and mother," said the nervous female. "Your mother was one of us, Naruto. She was a Kitsune demon. When Kushina, your mother, decided to have a baby with her husband, she changed him into this thing we call Demis. A half-demon, half-human crossbreed. She did this because she wanted her husband to live with her in our realm Maki, when they died. More about that later. Who was my father, Q-chan? Please tell me, yelled the blonde, not even caring that his mother was a demon at the moment. Okay, Naruto-kun, your father was Konoha's Yellow Flash, Minato Namikaze, and your Yondaime Hokage, stated the Fox Queen. Naruto immediately shut up and performed the deer in the headlights no jutsu. Oh shit, I think I broke him, joked the QB. Do you know if did they love me? Whispered the blonde. Are you kidding me, Naruto, yelled the woman as she laughed. When Kushi-chan found out she was pregnant, she was so happy she passed out. They loved you so much that they were willing to die to protect you. Finally, the previous conversation topic dawned on Naruto. And my mom was a demon? The scared blonde asked. So it's true. The things the villagers say are true. I am a demon. Yes, your mother was a demon, responded the blonde's new friend. Your mother was my best friend. I was even her bridesmaid in her wedding. She turned your father into what we demons call a demi. That means he was half mortal and half demon. They did this so that you would not be a demi or mortal. You are actually a demon, Kitsune. So I am a demon, announced the redhead's jailer with a dead look to him. Yes, you are. But why is that a bad thing? You have met me and know that I am a demon. Why is it that you do not like that you are one? Asked the confused woman. Because demons are supposed to be mean and dangerous, answered the still saddened blonde. Naruto, Kyuubi yelled, if that was true, do you think that I would be here right now talking to you? No, I would be trying to kill you, but I am not, so that proves not all demons are bad. To be honest, most demons are peaceful and fun-loving, only certain ones like to fight. Really? The shocked blonde asked. Of course, Naruto. Your mother was one, and she was the most polite being I have ever met. Sure, she pulled some pranks now and again, but that is expected of a Kitsune demon. Kyuubi laughed, remembering her old friend. Oh, but what now, Q-chan? I mean, why aren't I a fox or something? The confused blonde asked. Oh, that's simple. When your father sealed me inside of you, it was because I was being controlled and could not break the hold on myself. He sealed me inside you so that it would break the hold whoever was controlling me had. He chose you so I could meet his son and help train you later on in life. Which brings me to the next order of business. I want you to break the seal. Only the bottom right corner. This will allow me to talk to you through a mental connection, and I can train you to be the best ninja you can be, answered the demon fox woman. You promise on your power that you are not tricking me? Questioned the blonde, afraid the fox was trying to trick him into releasing her. I swear on my power that I am not trying to trick you, Naruto. You will release just enough of your own demon chakra into your system to allow us to communicate outside the seal. Once you do this, you will pass out. Probably for the rest of the night, but afterwards you will notice you will have a slight physical appearance change and a little more muscle than you have now. You will also have a slightly larger chakra capacity. Other than that, nothing will really change, explained the fox woman. Oh, okay, agreed the blonde as he smiled and walked to the seal. He ripped the corner off and held it. What now? That's where it all went dark. The next morning. Naruto awoke the next morning with a splitting headache. Was it all a dream? Thought the blonde. No, Naruto, it was not. Besides, for me being able to talk to you, why don't you go and look in the mirror? Kyuubi said in the child's head. Naruto quickly ran to his small bathroom to look at himself, and was surprised that a lot had changed. His eyes were now a darker blue with a hint of red in them. He had red highlights in his once pure blonde hair. His canines had grown a good inch. Most importantly, though, was that the boy noticed that he had a slight tip to his ears. What happened to me? Yelled the scared boy. 1. Just think it and I'll hear it. 2. What happened was what I said last night. You released some of your demonic chakra into your system and it has affected you physically. Once you decide to remove the seal, I will be released but stuck in human form. Doing this will result in all of your demon chakra being returned to you and you will become a Kitsune. Before you freak out, I will say that I know a jutsu that will allow you to look like you do now and allow any changes you want to keep there. This is not just the henge they will teach you in the classroom at the academy. This is a demon henge that will fool anything, even bloodlines, explained Q as the boy got confused but shrugged it off. So when should I remove the seal? Asked the boy. Well, it doesn't matter when, as long as it is before your 10th birthday. This seal was not made to hold me forever, it is a seal made to hold me for a small portion of the jailer's life. After the time is up we would basically fuse, but trust me, the one bijou that let that happen has never been the same, continued the fox woman. I can do this at any time and you will be released? Questioned the blonde. That's what I basically just told you, Q said with a deadpan look. Okay, then I choose to do it tonight. I will not have my first real friend stuck inside of me any longer than they have to be, proclaimed the 8-year-old. Are you sure, Naruto? Once it is done, you cannot undo it, warned the woman as Naruto just nodded. Okay, then tonight we'll take off the seal. Crap, Naruto, look at the time, you need to hurry to go meet the Hokage. Oh yeah, talk to you later, Q-chan. I'd talk to you while I was out, but Gigi may notice me acting differently. I don't want to tell him till you're here to help. Okay? Begged the boy as he ran out the door and headed to the Hokage's office. Yes, Naruto, and I will help you tell the old man, laughed the fox at her jailer's antics. Hokage office 10 minutes later. Hey Gigi, ready to go? Yelled the blonde as he ran into the old Kage's office. Just one moment, Naruto, and I will be. Why don't you sit and talk to Mrs. Tachi-san at her desk until I'm ready? Asked the elder as he signed more paperwork. 10 minutes later, Sarutobi walked out in his Kage robes and saw Naruto talking with his secretary as he explained some of the pranks he had pulled that week. And then the pervert got hit a lot of times by the woman in the bathhouse, laughed the small child. Naruto, that was you? I had a man in here telling me that he was haunted because he never saw who was behind him. How did you not let a Jonin see you? Asked the Kage as they left the building to go get the boys' equipment for the academy. Well, from all the times I have had to run and hide from the villagers, I guess I just got good at hiding myself, explained the boy. Oh, here we are, the Wolf Fang's Claw. Here we will be getting all your weapons, explained the elder as they both entered the store. Hello, SI, started the shopkeeper until he looked up and saw Naruto. He did, however, fail to see the Hokage behind him before he stuck his nose in the air and shouted, Out, get out now. I will not sell weapons of any kind to the likes of you. Naruto ducked his head and was near tears when his Gigi came forward. That is enough, roared the old man. You will sell to him, or I will have all my shinobi buy their weapons elsewhere. And if I hear about you doing anything other than selling Naruto the items he requested at the exact price and with no defaults done to the items to make him get hurt or worse, then I will personally send you to a Biki for treason. Why yes, Hokage Dano. Apologies, young man, I thought you were another child that has been stealing from my store. Please go about your business, stammered the scared man. Naruto quickly grabbed some shuriken, kunai, and some smoke bombs. He grabbed a pack of Saban needles just to see if he could learn from Q-chan to use them. He grabbed a pouch that fit them all, along with some flash/exploding tags. At Q's insistence, he also grabbed some chakra weights. As he walked back to the front to pay, he caught a glimmer of something. Once he went over to where the sun was reflecting off of the item, he saw to his utter amazement a pure black double-bladed sword with a black sheath. Quick as lightning, he grabbed the blade and rushed over to the two men who were talking in whispers. Here, Gigi, I got all the things I think I will need, yelled Naruto with his hands full. Not just yet. I think that you may have a hand at sealing jutsu, so I want you to also buy these books and this equipment to practice seals. It is a hard area to get into, but I bet if you put your mind to it you would be great, explained the old man as he put the items on the counter. He means that your father was well known for his seals, so he is hoping that you inherited his skill in it, explained the small boy's tenant. Really? Hey Q-chan, do you think that you can teach me to do seals and use a sword? Asked the excited blonde. Yes, I can. Where I come from, I was an excellent swordsman and seal master, so I would love to teach you what I know. Okay, talk to you later. Sarutobi is looking at you weird, said the QB. It was true too. For the past minute, Sarutobi had been staring at the blonde, who looked deep in thought. Something the matter, Naruto-kun? Questioned the elder. No, Gigi, it's just that ninjas are supposed to blend in well? Asked the blonde as he thought quickly for an excuse as to why he had been deep in thought. Yes, hence the reason we are at the Iron Kimono, to get you a new wardrobe. Sarutobi laughed as they stopped in front of a clothing store. As they walked in, they were greeted by the polite store owner. Hello, sirs, how may I help you today? Shocking the blonde, who was thinking he was going to get a repeat of last time, but the woman just smiled and said, Let me guess, new clothes. As they both nodded, Okay, then what is your size and I will make you the perfect ninja wear for you. I do not know what size I am, the blonde admitted. That is okay, child, I can measure you, but I will need you to strip down to your boxers so that I can get an accurate measurement, stated the polite woman as he headed for the changing room. Once done with the measurements, the lady made a few sets of clothes with the speed only experience could bring. The lady gave him the clothes to try on and he headed back to the room. Why are you being polite to Naruto? Questioned a cautious Sarutobi. That's simple, whispered the woman, because for starters I use sealing scrolls every day. I know the difference between the kunai and the scroll. Then there's the fact that I also respect his father's wishes and see him as a hero. Yes, I know who his father is. Anyone with eyes not clouded by resentment can tell, he looks just like Minato. Thank you? Not many people treat him very good, so when someone does, he is even happier because he has someone else he can call a friend. Stated the Hokage as Naruto walked out in one of his new attires. For now they will be kept secret until he starts the academy. Once he got the thumbs up, he returned to the room to try on the last outfit. Could you quickly make something for me? One just like his father? Asked the Kage in a whisper. The woman went and quickly did as requested and put it into a box. Just as Naruto came out of the room, Sarutobi finished placing a date seal on each side of the box. Naruto, this is for you. It is a present for the first day of school. You may have noticed that sign on the box. That Naruto is a seal, one made to only release its contents on the day I have made it for. On the first day of the academy you shall be able to open it. No ifs, ands or buts about it, explained Sarutobi to a pouting yet happy blonde. Sarutobi summoned one of his ape friends and had it grab all of Naruto's things. They stood there for a few minutes just talking and ensuring that they would be welcomed back even without Sarutobi having to be there. Well, madam, we must be going now. Ape-san, ape-san, yelled the man as he turned to see the ape he had summoned asleep. At the yell it had awoke, with a start glaring at his summoner. Now please go and take those bags to Naruto-kun's house and ape-san, no monkey business. Sarutobi, I am an ape, not a dang monkey, growled the glaring ape. Of course, ape-san, just what is your name so that I may remember that next time? Laughed the Kage. Touche, Sarutobi, touche, whispered the ape as he ran off towards Naruto's house. Gigi, asked the blonde, what was that ape's name? Oh, that. Well, Naruto, that specific ape had parents that were, well, for lack of a better term, carefree. They were like you, really. They loved to joke around and play pranks on the other apes. When their son was born, they named him Mon. Even if that was not very bad, it is his last name that gets everyone, answered the old man. What is it? Questioned the blonde as he got more and more into the joke, wanting to get to the end. Well, laughed Sarutobi, his first name is Mon and his last name is Ki. So if you put it together, his name makes Monkey. Wow, I've had better jokes come from a 9-day-old tuna salad sandwich with so much mold on it that it literally growled at me, laughed the boy. Sarutobi just looked at the child and laughed. That was a good one, Naruto. Where did you come up with that one? What are you talking about? That really happened. Still tasted the same after I doused it with ketchup, commented the small boy. The rest of the walk was in silence after that. As Naruto and the Hokage returned to his office and took their seats across from each other, the Hokage decided to speak. Naruto, I want to just get into this as it might take a little while, stated Sarutobi. You may find out that most kids that go to the academy are already trained well by their parents. As such, I have decided to give you a tutor so that you can hopefully catch up to the children that come from a clan or had parents teach them what they could. Starting tomorrow, please meet Mr. Ebisu at the front of the hot springs. The whole time Naruto was listening to Sarutobi, he was also having a conversation with his new friend. After talking with her for a few moments, Naruto looked at his Gigi and promptly said, Nah, sorry Gigi, but I already have a new friend who is a very strong person who is willing to teach me how to be a great ninja. She said having this Ebisu would just hold me back from the better trainer. What are you talking about, Naruto? Who is going to teach you, and what makes you think that they are better than the man that teaches the elites of this village? Asked the frightened old man, fearing the child had met his tenant. Oh, just a foxy lady that I met yesterday. She is a very strong woman who could probably even give you a run for your Rio. She even taught my mother the sword style she used. Laughed the boy as he didn't realize his blunder. Wait a moment, Naruto, exclaimed the old man as his fears grew bigger. You said that she taught your mother her sword style. Who was your mother then? As the boy started to sweat, finally noticing his blunder. As Naruto tried to find an excuse, Sarutobi decided that if this woman was who he thought it was, then things had gotten a lot more complicated. Just tell him the truth, Naruto-kun. You can't keep it a secret forever, his tenant rationalized. I guess you're right. Well, here it goes. As the blonde came out of his little doze-off mode. Well, Gigi, my mother was named Kushina Uzumaki, or the Red Death of Konoha. My father was the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and before you ask, yes, I know who my tenant and friend is. Sarutobi could only perform the fish out of water jutsu once more. Naruto finally snapped him out of it. Once the old Kage quickly grabbed the boy and ushered him into his private room connected to his office and made his Umbu guard the door, while he placed a silencing seal on the room for complete privacy. Once in, Naruto explained everything to his grandfather figure. So tonight I am going to release the seal and allow Q-chan out into the world so that she can better train me. Don't worry, I have her word on her power that she will not harm the leaf and will actually defend it as long as I do as well. Also, she told me to tell you not to tell anyone about her or my heritage until such time she tells us to. She says she knows she cannot order you, but she has a good idea that she will explain to you tomorrow before we go on a training trip. Before you say no, I will tell you that we are just going into the woods to train in complete isolation till school starts. Finished the tired blonde. I guess I have no choice, but I must ask. Will she allow one of my most trusted umbu to go along with you? Questioned the elder. Tell him that that is an understandable request. As such, I will be glad to grant this as long as he is sure that the human will not inform anyone of this except the old man, stated the fox woman. As Naruto repeated the answer to the old man, he nodded and stood before going to a picture of the fourth Hokage and beckoned to the boy. Naruto, please come over here and smear some blood onto this seal. It is a blood seal your father left for you to open when you found out about your heritage. To say Naruto ran to the seal and made a cut appear from nowhere in no time flat would be a huge understatement. Once the excited blonde child smeared the blood on the seal, there was a pop and smoke covered the seal as 3 scrolls and a small wooden box fell out of the wall, confusing the blonde. How the hell did that happen? Naruto yelled, shocked at how they just appeared. By a blood seal. I will teach you how to do sealing later on in your training. That is what the scrolls and special ink I had you grab at the weapons store are for, stated the tenant. As the smoke finally dispersed, Naruto saw one more huge scroll sitting on the ground. Okay, now Naruto, I want you to take these home with you, Sarutobi ordered, as he walked to the desk and wrote 4 seals onto 4 pieces of paper. When you open them, put these seals on your window and doors so that no one can come in or spy on you during that time. Okay Gigi, I will, but how am I to get them? Wow, I'm stupid. Summoning jutsu as a medium-sized 2-tailed blue fox appeared and bowed to her summoner. Hello, Naruto-sama, how may I be of service? My name is Sowan, and I am a carrier fox, explained the blue fox. Well, first things is, please not the sama honorific. It is way too formal for my liking, just Naruto is fine. All I need is for you to take these scrolls and this wooden box to my home and guard them till I get there, please, requested the blonde. Before he even saw the fox move, all the scrolls and the box were on it or on its tails. The fox then bowed and disappeared once again. Okay Naruto, now I am going to let you go for now, but remember, be at training ground 32 at 7 in the morning to start your training, he ordered his favorite blonde. Yes Gigi. Trust me, I'll be there because I have to get stronger so I can become Hokage, yelled the boy as he ran from the room, happier than could be as he raced home. Once there, Naruto thanked Sowan with a quick scratch behind the ear and allowed him to dispel himself back to Maki. Naruto quickly placed the seals that Gigi gave him in the appointment areas. Okay, first thing first, thought the blonde as he focused on the seal and was brought to his mindscape. Naruto ran down the path he had taken to get to the cage last time. Once he arrived, he saw Q standing there waiting for him. Are you ready? You do know that it might hurt, and we will both pass out, warned the fox. I know, and I don't care. My first real friend is not going to be stuck in a damn seal forever if I can help it, was the blonde's reply as he walked past his new friend and went straight to the paper seal on the cage. After a deep breath to steady himself, he reached forward and ripped the seal off. What now? Quickly, you have to eat the seal, or your body will burst into flames, yelled the redhead. Without thinking twice, Naruto shoved the seal into his mouth and chewed. Oh, this tastes like that tuna salad sandwich all over again, said the grossed out blonde. Oh my Cammy, you really did it. I thought you wouldn't believe me, but you really fell for it. Oh, that's priceless, laughed a hysterical woman as she rolled on the floor laughing. You tricked me, you ass, that was so nasty, yelled the blonde as he spit out the seal and started scratching at his tongue. As the blonde tried to clean his mouth out, he suddenly fell face forward along with QB as everything went dark again. 3 hours later, the passed out blonde was finally waking up. He opened his eyes to the smell of strawberries and pine needles. Once his eyes were open, he realized that his head was in a strange black pillow that he had never seen before. Deciding he was still tired, he grabbed the large pillow and rubbed his head against it to get comfy. At that moment, Naruto's eyes shot open one more time as he heard a small moan. The blonde rose up and finally looked at the new pillow and saw a smaller version under him with his head resting right on her smaller, but still quite nice. You make it, you take it, Naruto-in, laughed the female as she smiled and turned back over to sleep. Soon Naruto followed her example as he just dropped his head back onto her since he didn't have the energy to move. It was early in the morning when Naruto woke up again. It was still dark outside, but he couldn't tell. He had awoken yet again laying on a girl's moderate chest. He didn't recognize the girl, but for some reason he felt like he should know her, like he had met her before but could not remember her name or where he had met her. Scared that the girl would wake up and yell at him, he tried to get up but found that the small girl had raked her arms around him in her sleep. Surprising him with her strength in which she held him to her, he attempted to slowly break her grip around his waist. As he was thinking that he had succeeded, the girl stirred. Naruto instantly froze, hoping that she would go back to sleep. Sadly, it was not to be, as the small red-headed girl opened her eyes to reveal beautiful red eyes that had their pupils split like a cat's. "Like a fox's, Naruto-kun," said the female as she slightly giggled at his surprised look he had on his face, asking the unmistaken question. "What, you don't remember me, Naruto-kun? Well, I do look really different back in the seal. I forgot to tell you, when I am released I would take the form of the person's age that I left. I am now an 8-year-old demon Kitsune. I have all the powers that I had, just not as used to them inside this body," explained the newly transformed Kyubi. "BB, but why WW was I sleeping on TT top of you? Why do I feel so strange?" asked the confused child. "Well, that's simple really. When I came out of the seal I come out in front of it. When you passed out you fell forward, so when I came out I formed under you. I then proceeded to pass out as well before I could move you," said the fox woman as she thought, "like I would even if I had the strength, he. You feel so strange right now because you have taken on your Kitsune form and are not used to it yet. Go look in the mirror if you don't believe me." As Naruto neared the bathroom to look in the mirror, he noticed for the first time that he was moving more quickly, even though he was not trying to go any faster than a brisk walk. Once he finally made it to the room with the mirror, he looked at his reflection and was too shocked to speak. He knew that it was him by the whisker marks and half-blonde hair that the reflection also had. That, however, was the end to the things that did not physically change about him. He now had a blonde/reddish fur covering his body, red eyes with slits of pupils, and his whiskers had become more defined. On closer inspection, he also noticed that his usually pure blonde hair he had on his head was now longer and had red highlights in it. He lifted his hand to run it through his hair but stopped as he noticed his nails were now 3-inch claws. He then opened his mouth, and sure enough, his canine teeth were now longer than even in Inuzuka's and were twice as sharp. His physical appearance had also drastically changed. Instead of mostly baby fat still on his body from all the times of just eating ramen 24/7, he now had mostly muscle. It wasn't like bodybuilder style, but it was enough to start him out on a six-pack. He also noticed that he was at least a good 6 inches taller, and that he now had fox ears on top of his head. All this had just slipped out of his mind as he noticed 9 blonde/reddish colored tails flowing behind him. Finally having enough, he yelled out, "What the fuck just happened to me? Why do I look like a fox/man thingy? I told you, Naruto-kun, you would have a physical appearance transformation when you took all your demon chakra out of the seal. Don't worry, make these 3-hand seals and imagine your body how you want it, and call out demonic henjutsu. This henge will actually shape-shift your body to how you imagine it. I suggest that you keep the muscles and reddened hair. That way if you beat someone up with more muscle then you won't get questioned about it," explained the laughing friend as she saw how shocked he was. "Okay, that explains the muscles, but why the hair?" asked the confused blonde as he practiced the seals Kyubi showed him. "Well, it looks good on you," replied the female as she started to blush. "Well, it does look pretty cool, sure, why not?" laughed the blonde as he imagined himself as they had discussed and preformed the jutsu. There was a poof of smoke and Naruto stood before them like he had before, except for the hair, muscles, and the growth in height that he had kept. "What time is it, Q-chan?" About 3 in the morning, why?" asked the confused woman. "Well, Gigi gave me some scrolls and a box from my parents yesterday that I wanted to look at before we left for that training trip later today. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough time to look over them all before I got started," stated the happy blonde as he went to retrieve the said items from his bed. "Oh, okay, I'll go and make some breakfast if that's okay with you. I just think that this is something that you would like to do on your own, you know," stated the redhead as she got up and went to the kitchen to start cooking the last of the food that Naruto had, since they were not going to be back for a little while. "Thanks, Q-chan. Holler when it is ready, okay?" asked the hungry blonde. "Will do," replied the foxy woman with a chuckle. As Naruto sat there with the 3 scrolls in front of him, Hon noticed that each had a marker on them to show in which order to read. Naruto picked up the first and opened it. "Dear Naruto, if you are reading this, then your mother and I are dead and in the afterlife. We hate that we must leave you like this, but there was no other option. Kyubi has for some reason no one can figure out attack the villages around us. Hopefully she will not come here and attack, but I have a feeling that someone is controlling her. In case Sarutobi has not informed you of this, know, I am your father Naruto. My name is Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. I sealed Kyubi into you because you were the only child strong enough to do so. I know that you probably hate me for what I have done to you, but I want you to understand that Kyubi is not a bad person. Your mother and I loved you dearly. It tore us apart when we found that neither of us were going to survive to see you more than a few days. Your mother died giving birth to you. Not because of you though, she was very ill from all the pollution going through the air in her old village. Whirlpool Village was very toxic and it actually killed most, if not all, of your mother's friends and family. The only reason she survived was because she was the strongest in the village. Your godmother Tsunade Senju had made a once-in-a-lifetime cure, but being pregnant dissolved the antidote to her curse, and she was told that she would die on the table when she had you. This is something that she knows and accepts. Now to business, I have 4 scrolls here for you. One from myself and one from your mother. The other small scroll contains thousands of my special kunai and instructions on how to perform the Flying Thunder God technique. It also contains a scroll on how to perform the other jutsu I was famous for called the Rasengan. If you need help with that one, search out Jiraiya, the Toad Sage, and your godfather. He knows how to perfume the jutsu and can allow you to sign the Toad summoning contract. If you have signed the fox, that is okay. You can talk to the boss Toad, Gamabunta, and if he finds you worthy, he will allow you to sign both. It will help if you tell him you are my son. We were very close to each other, and were great friends. Lastly, the big scroll contains the Namikaze Uzumaki clan library within it, not the whole thing, just the most important ones to be on the safe side. It also has the keys to the house in them. Do not worry about anything missing from the house. There are seals all over it to stop any non-Namikaze or non-Uzumaki into the grounds. The only ones that do not fit this requirement are your godparents, Sarutobi, and anyone you register, explained inside the scroll, to be allowed entrance. Well son, I must go now. I am sorry that I do not get to spend any time with you, but what is done, and nothing can change that. Trust me, one day when your time comes we will meet each other. Your mother's scroll will explain everything else better than I can. I love you son, and I hope you lead a happy life with your wives and kids. Your father. Minato Namikaze. Naruto dropped the letter and started to cry, as the only thing he could think about was that his parents truly loved him. Kyubi came in as she had heard him crying on her way to get him for breakfast. Kyu quickly ran to him and raped him into her arms as the distraught child whispered, "Father." It would be hours before Naruto stopped crying, and Kyu would be there through it all for her favorite blonde. Naruto finally calmed down after about an hour of just being held by his friend. The shock of what all his father said, and what all they left behind for him, was just too much of a shock to him. This being the case, he was a mental wreck, but with the help of Kyubi he finally was able to sit without her holding him. You know that you're going to need to read your mother's letter before we leave so that you can get it all out of the way instead of going through all this again, stated the intelligent redhead. I'm fine, it's just that all my life I have wondered if my parents really loved me. I know that you told me they did, but there was always a part of me that didn't know if you truly knew that they did. I should have trusted you more, Kyu-chan, said a satin blonde/redhead. Well, I'll go and recook breakfast while you read your mom's letter, insisted the foxy woman. I will, Kyu-chan. Be down in a minute. This should be easier than before now that I've got the initial shock over with, finished the boy as he grabbed his mother's letter, as Kyubi went to the kitchen once more. Dearest Naruto, this is your mother, just in case your bonehead of a father forgets to mention that. Most likely by the time that you read this I will be dead because of my illness. Do not worry, it was from breathing all the toxins in the air of my home village of Whirlpool Country during the war. It is not contagious, or will it affect you. Your godmother, Tsunade Senju, made a one-time cure for it, but sadly being pregnant lowered my immunity to the toxins and the illness came back. I do not wish to leave you, Naruto, but I can already feel my life slipping away from me with each passing moment. I love you, son, and if there was another way I would have Minato take it instead of making you carry the burden of being a Jinchuriki. The only good thing about this is that it is my good friend Kyubi that will be sealed within you, and not someone like the Ichibi or Yambi sealed within you. You should hear this from me, but Kyu-chan probably has told you already that I am a demon. Not all demons are bad, trust me, most of the foxes are nice and polite, if not a little bit unorthodox. I came with the other demons from our world called Maki, but when I tried to use the demon henge I messed up on a sign, and it became my permanent body. I turned your father into what we call a demi, half demon / half mortal, so that when he died he will be turned into a fox summons and be taken to Maki instead of going to the afterlife. You, my son, are a full-blooded demon, and will have the same done to you as was done to me. Your appearance will change when the seal dissolves or you release the seal. One of these choices has to be done before your 14th birthday, or you will lose your demon powers. Kyu-chan will teach you the henge so that you may blend. Do not worry about things like sensors or things like the Byakugan, as they cannot see through this, as it is in all actuality a shape-shift instead of an illusion. Once you do it for the first time you will be able to just do the shift with nothing more than a thought and chakra. Anyway, at the bottom of this scroll is a seal. That seal contains my sword that made me so famous because it is a demon sword, so it can cut almost anything made from humans. Please use it well and don't abuse it or I will haunt you. The blade is unnamed, so if you could name it for me that would be great. The first child that you have will get it passed down to them when you die, or in other words come to Maki when you're ready. Know this though, If you come here, you must wait 3 years before you can return. If you marry a mortal, Kyubi can teach you the ritual needed to turn the woman into a demi so that they will come here as well. I suggest turning them before children so there is no way you will get a mortal child that will not come to Maki when they die. Also make a scroll detailing the ritual and put the best seal you can onto it so that no one but our family knows how to do it. Now, as Sarutobi may have told you, depending on your age, you come from a clan. To be honest, you come from 2 clans actually. With that being the case, you will probably be forced to undergo the CRA, Clan Restoration Act. When this happens, you will have to find 10 wives at the minimum. If you are like your father at all, this should be no problem, as I had to beat half the women away from him when we were dating. Just promise your mother that you will only marry people who truly care about you and not just your clan in name. Well, I must stop now and go as my water just broke. You're about to be born. Look below for a water stain as some spilled on the page, ha 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 ha. I love you, son, and cannot wait to see you, but that doesn't mean die for no reason. Love your mother. Kushina Uzumaki. Konoha's Red Death. P.S. Kyubi, no seducing my son. As Naruto finished reading, he dropped the letter and called to Kyubi. As she walked in, she saw Naruto smiling sadly at her, and he pointed, saying she left a message for you. As Kyubi picked up the letter and read, she blushed and giggled so bad that a certain silver-haired ninja would be jealous. Elsewhere. Oh yeah, Chuchu sneezed a certain Cyclops. What the hell, Kakashi? Why the fuck did you sneeze on me? Yelled a fuming purple-haired Chunin. She quickly got up and cleaned herself off and got dressed to leave. By the way, if you ever want a woman to actually come around after doing that thing you tried to call sex, then there are 2 words you need to take under consideration. Penis pump, you fucking pencil. She yelled as she stormed out. Wait, Anko, the man yelled as he ran to the door as she stopped and looked at him expecting at least an apology. They make those? Said the Jonin with his one visible eye sparkling with joy and hope. Back with Naruto. Holy crap, Q-chan, have you saw this scroll? Yelled an excited 8-year-old. Which one, Naruto-kun? Yelled the redhead as she finished up breakfast yet again. The really big one. It has over 3,000 scrolls sealed into it. Each with jutsus written in them. They have all different kinds like elemental types and just normal ones, and this is apparently just the more important scrolls. I can't wait to see what is in the library at the estate. Naruto-kun, calm down. Did you forget that you also have one last thing to look at? Inquired the woman from the kitchen. No, I am going to look at it right now actually. Yelled back the child as he picked up the box. Naruto bit his finger and smeared blood onto the seal and heard a small click. Once the box was opened, he saw another note along with a key, a picture, and 2 rings. Dear Naruto, this box contains the key to the family vault in the basement at the house. In it contains many things for you to do with as you please. This sadly will be the only picture of us as a family that you will ever see. Naruto quickly picked up the picture to reveal his parents standing facing one another with their hands on the woman's stomach, which was slightly protruding to show she was pregnant. His father looked like he did in all the pictures he had saw of him. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and masculine. He wore his normal Hokage attire, which consisted of his white cloak with red flames at the bottom with Konoha's yellow flash in a circle on his back. He wore green ninja pants and had a dark blue muscle shirt on. His mother was beautiful. She had red hair, red eyes, and was wearing a dark blue kimono. She had a nice figure even though she was pregnant, and had enough muscle to show she was a true ninja and not just some fangirl. Naruto sat the picture back down with tears in his eyes and picked the note back up. Also, there are 2 rings in this box. These are our wedding rings. Each has a Hyroshin seal placed on it along with a storage seal inside the stone. In the seal is a sample of our blood and your birth certificate. That way when you are a genin you can come out and say who you are. If Sarutobi thinks you are ready, that is. I made many enemies, so I don't want to reveal your heritage until you can defend yourself. These items will prove without a doubt that you are our son. We love you, son, and hope that you can find happiness even with all the burdens you will have to shoulder. Take care and try not to visit us too soon, that way you don't get stuck here. Love, Minato and Kushina. Dad and Mom. I promise, Mom and Dad, only when I'm ready will I come, whispered the boy as he picked up everything and put it back. He looked at his mother's seal at the bottom of her letter. Channeling some chakra into the seal made it release with a poof of smoke. Once the smoke had cleared, Naruto looked at the most beautiful blade he had ever seen. The sheath was a black cherry leather color, with a fox-shaped crossguard. The handle was made from a weird-looking wood, but upon greater inspection saw that there were kanji for strength, weight, and sharp engraved into the wood and seemed to be reinforced with this demon steel his mother talked about. Finally knew why the sword felt like it was weightless. This flew from his mind as he drew the blade and saw that it was amazing. It was a double-edged, 3 feet-long blade. The entire blade was blood red as if it had just stabbed someone. "It's amazing," was all the shell-shocked boy could say. He soon remembered his mother's last request and stared at the blade for a moment before saying, "I named the Red Death." Once the name had been uttered, the blade glowed a dark red, and at the base of the blade, "I am the Red Death," became etched into it, in black kanji. "Naruto-kun, bring me your sword that Sarutobi got you," requested Kyubi as she had entered to see the blade and the writing. Naruto quickly got up and got the blade and laid them both in front of her. Once done, Kyu started a long chant in a different language that Naruto somehow understood. "I call upon the forces of my realm to make these swords equal to my helm. Make 1 2, and make 2 1 so that the connection can be lost. This Kyubi commands no matter the cost." After she had finished her chant, there was a flash of light, and Naruto saw his mother's sword and his new sword still in front of his new friend. Now, instead of an all-black sword and sheath, in its place laid a dark blue sword with an even darker blue sheath. The cross guard had changed to match his mother's with a fox engraving on it. "Here now, both are demon metal swords," stated Kyubi as she handed both blades to her ex-jailer. "Name it, and draw blood with both blades so that they will recognize no other master but you or your descendants." Naruto put both blades on his back and strapped them on so that they made an X shape. The boy thought for a moment, and drew the blue sword. As he dragged the blade across the palm of his hand, he proclaimed, "I named thee Riptide, from the tales of legend Gigi told me about when I was younger." The same happened with Riptide as it did with Red Death. As he repeated what he did with his mother's old blade, he looked at the clock, and realized that he only had 35 more minutes before he had to go to meet Jig and his Umbu. Once he finished the ritual, he ran to the kitchen with Kyu and quickly ate before taking off with her to the designated training field to meet the Hokage and Umbu agent. 45 minutes later. "Where is that boy?" asked an angry Kage as he paced back and forth. "He should have been here by now," yelled an 8-year-old as he dropped from a tree along with a red head the old man had never before seen. "Hello, Naruto, nice of you to drop in. And who is this lovely young lady?" asked the old Kage as he sipped some tea he had. "This is Kyu-chan," said the happy child as the old man just nodded before he remembered who that was supposed to be. Needless to say, Sarutobi spit out all his tea all over the now angry Umbu agent. "How, when, where, what, Naruto?" yelled the red-faced Kage. "Okay, 1 second, Gigi. Well, how is complicated? When was yesterday? Where was my house? And finally, you'll say it again, this is Kyu-chan. You know Kyubi no Yoko. I told you yesterday that I was going to release her, remember, duh?" Laughed the blonde redhead at the fish out of water look his Gigi had on his face. Deciding to just get it out of the way, Naruto explained everything to both older men as Kyu just kind of stayed in the background making sure no one was listening in on their conversation. After he was done, he showed all the letters, birth certificate, and what he now looked like underneath the shapeshift he was using. Needless to say, the 2 older men fainted on the spot. "Well, that went better than I expected it to go," laughed the blonde. 30 minutes later. "Ow, my head, what a weird dream. I swore I saw Naruto say that he was a demon, then grew 9 tails, after telling me that he released the Kyubi, who is actually a nice 8-year-old girl," said the Kage as he looked around. "Me too," Yamato said as he slowly rose to a sitting-up position. "Me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yep, 9 tails," laughed a voice behind them as they turned to see both children giggling behind them as they had their tails released and were sparring. "You know what? I don't care anymore. I'm too old to deal with all this fucked up shit. Yamato, please go oversee them both in their training. Remember, 1 month, 3 weeks, and 5 days before they must return so that Naruto can attend the academy," reminded the grandfather figure. "Yes, Hokage-sama," was all that the stunned man could get out before the old man body flickered away. He quickly entered to training grounds with a face that seemed to be trying to comprehend all the new information he had just received. He stopped long enough to activate the seals that would make spying all but impossible by even the greatest of ninja. "Okay, Naruto, we don't have a lot of time to get you ready, so the first thing I am going to teach you is called the Shadow Clone Jutsu," explained the new red-headed 8-year-old sensei once they were done with their spar almost 4 hours later. As a bloody and beaten, but slowly healing, blonde got excited, as both children smiled wickedly. No one would hear of them for almost 2 months. It had been 1 month, 3 weeks, and 5 days since Naruto, Kyu, and Yamato had entered the Hokage's personal training grounds for complete isolation. As all 3 headed into the office, Naruto took the time to look back at all that had been done in the past 2 months. He had met his tenant, befriended her, and released her from her seal. He found out who his parents had been and could not be happier that his father turned out to be his idol. Yes, he had been mad at first that his father had sealed the female demon into him, and caused him to be the village pariah for something out of his control. Finally thinking it over, he came to the conclusion that his father had very good reasons for doing so and found that he could not blame his father for what he had done, since he realized that he would probably do the same thing if the tables had been turned. Not to mention the fact that he was also a son of a demon, making him one as well. It took a little while for the 8-year-old to finally come to terms with that. Sure, he pretended that what was revealed did not really affect him, but on the inside he was torn between love and hate for his mother. Love for the fact that she was his mother, and loved him deeply. He felt hate for her because he had always been told that demons were evil in everything that they did. As he got to know the true history of demons from his new friend Kyubi, and learned of his mother's past, he came to realize just how different the truth really was. Flashback. Naruto, what is wrong? You have been sitting here for over an hour just looking at the moon, asked a worried redhead. Nothing, Q-chan. Well, it's just that the more I think about how I'm a demon and my mother was one as well, the more I realize how bad demons are supposed to be. No offense, Q-chan, it's just that my whole life I have been taught that demons are supposed to be some great evil being that would devour you if given the chance, replied the blonde. Well, Naruto-kun, maybe if you understood who your mother was you would realize just how good we demons can be, insisted the female as she sat down beside her blonde/redheaded companion. It all starts out with how your mother came to this world. It all started about 40 years ago when all the tailed beasts, as the humans call us, returned to our realm for a family reunion. We waited the 3 years to be able to return to this world, as we found coming here was quite fun. In that time I found your mother, and we became great friends. In her tailed form she was a red fox with the most beautiful red eyes. She only possessed 5 tails though, so she was just a minor demon. Basically she would be a civilian council member, or maybe Jonin level. She was a great swordsman. She was even able to beat me in a battle of Kenjutsu. When it was time for us to go back to the mortal world, she begged the council and me to come with us. Right before we left, the council finally cleared her to go along. The trip takes a good 3 minutes, and in that time Kushina could not be more excited. Once there, all the other demons used their chakra and mind power to transform to human shape. I showed your mother how to do it, but as she did her first attempt at it she sneezed and messed up the jutsu, and instead of just shape-shifting into a human she accidentally turned her body into one permanently. She was heartbroken to lose her fox form. When this happened she ran to the nearest village to cope with the new change. During this time Whirlpool Village was still standing, and was only a few miles from where we appeared. She quickly became a ninja there to make a living as a new human. Sadly, not long after that, war broke out and destroyed the village with many fatal toxins. This is when your father was just a genin and brought to the village on a mission to help any survivors. Kushina was soon found half dead as her healing powers had been greatly diminished when turned human. They quickly got her back to Konoha and healed. At this time Tsunade was there and made a cure that would make her completely immune to the toxins. As long as she did not contract it again she would be safe. This is when she met your father, as he had become stricken with her beauty and would not leave her side for even a moment. When she woke up from her coma that they had to put her into, the first sight she saw was one that she later described as an angel with fear and hope in his eyes. After that, Minato and Kushina were inseparable. Even after she told him of who and what she truly was, he still stayed by her side. Kushina made sure that she looked like a genin when she became human, because in our world she would have been about genin age. With that she was able to join a team and go on missions as a Leaf member. A few months after she revealed herself to Minato they started to date. This continued until they were both 19 years old. At that point Minato proposed to her. They held the wedding almost a month later in a secluded place, as Minato had become well known to the ninjas of Rock Country. He did this that way they would not attack her to get to him. Anyway, the night of their wedding Kushina turned Minato into a demi. They then mated, and before they knew it Kushina-chan turned up pregnant. Minato had already become the 4th Hokage, and since Kushina was ill again with her past curse he did not want anyone hurting her to get to him. With this in mind they kept you and their wedding secret until such time that it would be safe. Sadly, that was where I got controlled by those red eyes and forced to attack the village. Your father tried everything he could to stop me, but his heart was already breaking with the death of Kushina on his mind. Well, you know the rest of what happened. After the story ended, Naruto just remained silent for a few minutes before finally asking, how many times do demons willingly attack a village? Well, I cannot say for sure, but in the history of the foxes there have only been 2 attacks on any village, and one of them was me. Demons are more likely to hide in a village than attack it. We are truly peaceful creatures. Sure, some of the less kind demons like to torture humans for fun, but we outnumber them by a very large margin, explained the woman. So what you're saying is that most of what I have heard about demons is all false? Asked the boy. No, some of what you have heard is true. We do enjoy fighting, but it is more along the lines of sport rather than just to kill. We are slightly more bloodthirsty than humans are, but we keep it in check for the most part, finished the woman, looking into the cerulean eyes of her companion. Thank you, Q-chan, you really helped me realize that it shouldn't matter if my mother or I am a demon. It only matters that she used her powers for good and not to prove the stories of old right. Explained the blonde/redhead, as he slowly drifted to sleep with Kyubi lying against his shoulder. End flashback. Naruto smiled as he remembered that night. It had been one of the first nights where he felt safe with someone near him as he slept. Sadly, his thoughts were interrupted by Yamato as he beckons for Naruto to enter the Hokage's office. Naruto looked around to find that sure enough he finds himself in the Hokage tower with the door to his surrogate grandfather's office right in front of him, not realizing that he had been standing there for a few moments. Sorry, I got lost on the trail of life, exclaimed the boy as Yamato groaned at the reference to his old friend Kakashi Hatake. Elsewhere, Achu yelled a silver-haired cyclops as he sneezed and was quickly slammed in the face with a right hook, effectively knocking him through several trees and rocks before stopping. Kakashi, my eternal rival, your flames of youth seem to have died down greatly today. Come hug your rival and I shall rejuvenate your flames to even greater heights than before, yelled a green spandex-wearing abomination. He quickly ran to his downed rival and attempted to hug him. To the man's horror, his rival ran from him with more speed than even he could use without his weights, and all 7 celestial gates opened. Around the village, all could hear both men yelling and running for the rest of the day. Back in the Hokage's office, Naruto had just finished saying hello to his Gigi as he ran into the office with his usual happy manner. Once done, he, Q, and Yamato stood at attention to give their report to their village leader. Report, Yamato, tell me how long will it take Naruto to be able to catch up with all the others once in the academy? Ordered the old man as he gained a confused look when all three laughed, although Yamato's sounded mega creepy with a smile that just did not look like it should ever be shown to anyone ever again. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, but at the rate this boy learned all that we could teach him in that little time, I would be shocked if he had not already caught up, if not surpassed them. He is fluent in chakra control, although that did take a while since he has massive chakra reserves. He also has gravity seals placed on him by Mrs. Q over here that are up to X3 already. His speed would be high chunin, maybe low jonin, although it was already great to begin with. I am sure you can guess as to why that is though, Hokage-sama. With the help of the shadow clone jutsu that Q-san taught him, he was able to learn Futon, Great Breakthrough, Katan, Fire Ball Jutsu, Substitution, Henge, and to better his summoning abilities. He is actually a very quick learner at Fuin Jutsu, as was his father. I can only hope that he becomes even better than his father, as he did amazing things with them. He has started on the Rasengan and will start the Hiraishin once he has completely gotten the hang of that. He has read most of his father's notes on both and is greatly improving with it. I would say to give him 1 to 2 more weeks and I believe he will have completed the final stage. His strategizing skills are great as he can think of many unpredictable things that even made me stop to have to think about at times. If I didn't know anything about him and only knew his abilities at shogi, then I would say you were talking about Inara. I honestly would have to say that he could probably beat Inara about his age at the game. He is still learning to be patient and calm along with manners, but Q is still working on those. The real great steps he made though is the new fighting style QB taught him, called the Dance of the Demon Fox. He has mastered the basic and some of the more advanced moves of the style. Give him a year, maybe 2, and I believe he could defeat maybe a high chunin by using that style. His kenjutsu though is what really surprised me. To be frank with you, I knew Kushina when I was but a child. I saw her in her sword style many times when I watched her practice. It was like she was dancing, it was so intricate. Naruto-san here has mastered the beginning of this style, and has even bettered it a little bit by adding in his other sword. He has been having trouble getting the more advanced katas down, but I believe once he is past the things that are confusing him, I believe he will rival if not surpass his mother with the sword. To say the Hokage was shocked would be like saying the Uchiha clan had a small stick up their pompous asses. It took all 3 of the people in his office to finally break him out of the fish out of water jutsu that for some reason became very popular when people were around Naruto. Yamato, how is all that possible? I do not see how one 8-year-old could learn all that in such a small amount of time. Sarutobi all but shouted once finally able to return to normal, only to be shocked too much not to almost yell. Well, Hokage-sama, interrupted Q, as she stepped forward, it is quite simple. Naruto has demon chakra in his system, so his chakra is more potent, and he also has high reserves. With both of these in thought, I taught him the forbidden technique, the Shadow Clone Jutsu. As you may know, this jutsu allows the user to basically train themselves faster as long as they are not trying to physically train themselves. So each day I had Naruto make an army of clones to go out with an army of my own, and they trained in multiple things at once. This allowed him to jump in leaps and bounds with his training. I would say that he is not at the least a high genin low chunin. We are still going to train more, but hopefully not as extreme as before. Holy shit, he's going to be the best graduate we ever had if he gets any better, thought the old man as he just thought it over. Well then Naruto, you may go. Q, you may go as well. Don't forget 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, go to the academy for your first day, yelled the man as they had both left already once they had heard that they could leave. Once they were gone and Sarutobi had seen them turn the corner in the street down below from his office window, he turned to the still attention standing Umbu agent. Yamato, report, what do you think about the Kyuubi? Can she be trusted not to attack the village? Hokage-sama, my findings are at a hard and very stern yes. She seems to have developed a slight crush on Naruto, and I believe that with it she has come to be more defensive with the village since he is as well. I think that if the village attacked Naruto she would destroy the attackers to nothing but ash, but if Naruto attacked another village under our orders I believe that she would help. Not only that, but I also believe very strongly that she would also help defend the village if it were ever under attack. Finished the now masked man as he had replaced his mask over his face so that he could resume his Umbu duties. Very well. I trust Naruto, but I had to make sure. Well, this is great news, you may go now, Tenzo. The next day. Once Naruto and Q had gotten home, it was about 5 in the afternoon. They decided to go train a little more after their meeting with the Hokage. Once done they had come home, ate, and showered, separately for now. Finally they decided to get some sleep since Naruto had to get up early. Sure enough, at 5:30 that morning his annoying alarm clock had went off and woke the both of them up since they had been sleeping together ever since that night. Naruto had felt peaceful. They had both got up and got dressed for the day. Naruto now had on the new clothes that Sarutobi had gotten him. He now wore a dark black muscle shirt that showed off his moderate muscled body. He wore black Umbu pants with his holsters for his smaller weapons around his right lower thigh. He was putting on his new black shinobi sandals when Q hollered into the room, "Remember the gift Gigi got for you, Naruto-kan? He said you got to open it today, so why not see what he got you?" Naruto, who had forgotten all about the gift, ran to his small closet and grabbed the forgotten box off the top shelf and read the note that had now taken shape over the seal. Naruto, I am not supposed to tell you who he is, but I can tell you that your father would want you to have this like he had when he was here. Love, your favorite clothing store owner. Naruto quickly removed the box's lid and grabbed the item that was inside. Inside was a trench coat, quite like his father's but still different. Instead of white with orange flames at the bottom like his father's coat was, Naruto's was an all-black trench coat with no sleeves. Around the bottom trim were red flames. Naruto saw that on the tag on the inside there was a second note saying, "When you find out your father's name, swipe blood on the seal below, and say it, and watch me work my greatness." Under the note was a seal that Naruto had never encountered before. Next to the seal was a small stick figure laughing, which Naruto could only guess was the store owner's way of saying a joke. He quickly swiped blood on the seal and said Minato Namikaze. After the words had been uttered, the seal released, but instead of smoke the coat shone with a very bright light. Once Naruto was able to uncover his eyes, he looked at the jacket. There seemed to be nothing different other than the fact that it now had a few seals on the inside. A few he recognized as sealing seals, but the others needed to be explained by Q, through their mind connection that still remained, that one was a repairing seal. This seal would repair almost any damage to the coat. The other seal beside it was apparently a cloth growth seal. This would allow the coat to grow to match Naruto's growth with just a little bit of chakra. Finally there was the seal that Kyuubi laughed at. She told Naruto that the seal he was looking at happened to be the most important one on it. It just so happened to be a machine washable seal that would allow it to be cleaned by a washing machine and still keep the seals and everything needed to the coat on the coat. As Naruto put the coat down, his eyes spied one last difference on the back. Like his father, he had titles on the back in a red circle with black lettering. On his right shoulder blade area it read Konoha's Second Flash. On the other side was another title. Naruto didn't expect to find Konoha's Yellow Death. Then in the center of his back stood a black fox with 9 tails on the back, standing on its 4 legs in what Naruto assumed was a fighting style stance. How did she know? Thought the confused blonde. Simple really, I broke the seal on it while you slept last night since I had a feeling of what was in it. I then tampered with the seal you released so that the fox would appear. Now you are titled with both parents' titles and now your own. You are now the Black Fox of Death, explained the girl as she cooked breakfast. Wow, thanks Q-chan, exclaimed the blonde as he quickly donned the new coat over his all-black attire. He quickly ate his food and ran off to go to the academy since he just couldn't stand to wait anymore, or would have had Q not grabbed him at the door. First off, you can say goodbye, Naruto. And secondly, I want you to make 56 clones today so that they can go train while you're in school, ordered Q as Naruto quickly complied by making the clones and leaving them with her to get ready to go train in the forest surrounding the village. Right before Naruto turned the corner, he yelled at the top of his lungs back to his first true friend, "Goodbye Q-chan," and continued to run. Naruto reached the academy and noticed a lot of people there around his age. Realizing that they must have been just as excited as he had been and came early, Naruto began to look around at all his new classmates. There was a group of girls fawning over some boy with a weird duck-butted hairdo with an all-blue shirt and white shorts. Surprisingly, the boy looked like he didn't even notice two of the girls that seemed to be fused to his arm. One was a pink-haired girl with a larger-than-normal forehead. She had on a tight red dress and black leggings on to not reveal too much from the sides that allowed her to run when needed. She looked pretty but for some reason got a very bad vibe from this girl. The other girl that was on his other arm trying to get the boy to come closer to her was a fellow blonde with pretty blue eyes. She had her hair in a type of ponytail, but had one piece defying gravity with it sticking out of her face before falling down in front. She had on a purple dress that was very nice, and showed what little cleavage that she had already begun to grow, bug bites, so basically she had a slight hump with a. She also seemed nice and had a bad vibe, but hers wasn't as strong as the pink-haired girls. As he continued to look, he saw many people there, but most were just non-mentionable. Finally coming to a group of boys sitting around joking. One had black hair in the shape of a pineapple. He wore a gray hoodie with fishnet armor underneath with black shorts to match. The next boy also had on a gray hoodie, but his however covered half of his face with the extremely high color that it had. He wore a pair of small sunglasses and had brown hair spiked up in the air. He had his hands in his coat pockets and didn't seem to be talking much. Then there was another boy with a gray hoodie that had fur lining it. The boy had brown dirty-looking hair with red lines in the shape of fangs going down his face. He had larger canine teeth like Naruto, and seemed to be louder than all of the other boys. Finally there was the boy without the hoodie. He was a heavy-set boy with swirls on his cheeks. He was eating a bag of chips while listening to the others talk. He had on a red shirt and red pants that were just that, plain pants and shirt. Deciding he had observed enough, Naruto came up to the boys and decided to introduce himself. "Hello, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," said the blonde as he added his father's last name to the mix since Gigi and him planned to reveal it soon, very soon. Namikaze, where have I heard that name before? Thought the pineapple boy as he introduced himself and the others. Shikamaru Nara, Shino Abirame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Choji Akimichi. Who are you? I know I have heard your name before, but I cannot think of where. Probably from my father. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, answered the boy as all the boys went silent. None of them noticed that a girl from over with the moody boy walk over. Here look, said the blonde/redhead as he swiped a little blood on his finger he had made onto the ring he had on his right hand. In an instant a piece of paper poofed out in a flash of smoke. Once it was all gone, the boys all leaned forward to look at the paper. It was Naruto's birth certificate with the Hokage stamp of approval on it. Sure enough, on the spot for father there was Minato Namikaze. Once they rose up, the girl decided to voice her arrival. "Hey cutie, why don't you leave all these little riff-raff alone and come hang out with me?" asked the girl as she tried to stand seducingly. Naruto, being clueless about women, was unaffected. He turned to her and said, "No thanks, I like these guys. They seem pretty cool," he answered as he was about to put the certificate back into the ring for his surprise later on. Just as he got it to the ring, the girl quickly grabbed it and looked. She dropped the paper soon afterwards, which Naruto swiftly snatched before it touched the ground. He quickly sealed it away before anyone else tried to take it. Sadly, as soon as he got it away from prying eyes and back into the ring, the girl decided to voice her thoughts very loudly. Why, you're the fourth Hokage's son!" she yelled as everyone turned to stare at Naruto. Even Mr. Broody over there. Soon almost everyone was surrounding Naruto and looking at him. Soon everyone that had appeared had come to the same conclusion: holy shit, it is him. Take away the whiskers and he's like I mini fourth. Finally the only three not over near the blonde/redhead came over and announced their presence. Him? The fourth son? Wow, if that's true then the fourth was more pathetic than I thought. Why, that old baster Hokage up there didn't choose an Uchiha to be the fourth and not that piece of shirt dash. Proclaimed the emo boy, or at least tried to before he quickly met a fist in his gut. Everyone was shocked as they had not even seen Naruto move, but there he was standing in front of the great Uchiha with the boy gasping for breath as he fell to the ground and held onto his stomach. Everyone backed up to see the fight as Naruto just stood there looking at the boy on the ground, anger clear in his eyes. "If I ever hear you insult my father again, I will make sure to break every bone I can until I am forced to stop or you are dead," said in a voice that made 3 people shit themselves and 12 people piss themselves. At that moment the school bell rang and everyone ran inside. Once everyone was gone, Naruto said out loud, seemingly to no one, "Hello again, seems like we are in the same class. Well, see you there." Once the boy was done, he ran into the class, and a few seconds later a dark blue-haired girl with lavender eyes stepped out from behind the tree she was hiding behind with a heavy blush. "He remembers me." She quickly ran into the school so that she could get to class before she was late. Once inside, Sasuke, Ino, and Sakura all sat in a row with one girl on each side of the boy. How dare that Namikaze asshole hurt poor Sasuke-kun. He is nothing, he just caught him off guard. Had he been ready, he would have mopped the floor with him. Right, Ino? Yelled the pink banshee as said boy walked in and sat with his 4 guy friends. Ino blushed as she saw the decent amount of muscle on the boy and faintly whispered so only Sakura and Sasuke could hear. Well, maybe. What I mean is that we don't know how strong he really is. Maybe what you say is true, or maybe he's as strong as Sasuke. The Namikaze clan was said to be just as strong, if not stronger, than the Uchiha clan. At this, the 2 other children who were listening huffed and ignored Ino from then on for her betrayal. As the whole class started to talk, their teachers finally arrived and calmed them all down to listen. Hello, class. My name is Iruka Amino, and this is Mizuki Bakanada. This caused all the children to laugh, as in Chinese it translated into idiot ass, so in other words his last name spelled out dumbass. From here on you will call us Iruka sensei and Mizuki sensei. Now we will be taking roll call first, and then we will get into what you all will be learning. Now, said the brown-haired man as he started roll. Naruto inspected his teachers while he waited for his name to be called to start his plan. Iruka was a tall brown-haired man with a scar across his nose with the standard ninja clothes on. He wore his hair much in the same form as Shikamaru. Mizuki had silver hair and an evil glint to his eyes, and he looked at Naruto. He had 2 Fuma shuriken on his back. He too wore the standard ninja attire. The roll call went on for a few minutes until Plan Sucket began. Naruto, Uzumaki, and Namikaze, stuttered the brown-haired Chunin. Present Iruka-sensei yelled Naruto as he stood for them to see who they were addressing. Iruka looked like he was about to say something until Mizuki stepped in. Namikaze, who is your father? Said the man with a scowl, hoping upon everything that it wasn't who he thought it was. Minato Namikaze, also known as the 4th Hokage, proclaimed the boy as he laughed his ass off in his head. Quite lying, boy, the 4th did not have a son. Now, as much as I love a good story, I must, yelled Mizuki until Shikamaru stood as well and yelled back. He's not lying, he has proof. Soon all 4 boys were yelling the same. Oh? He has proof, who? Well, why don't you come down here and show us this proof? Yelled the teacher. Fine, I will, just one moment please. Yelled Naruto as he went to the door and opened it, ushering in the Hokage and the whole council along with the doctor. Hokage Gigi, did you bring the doctor we talked about? Yes, Naruto. Now, Mr. Yukita, please come forward and perform your blood testing jutsu on this blood. As Naruto cut his hand with Riptide and let the blood fall into a test tube, and this blood. Finished the old man as Naruto pulled his mother's ring from around his neck to show he had changed it into a necklace of sorts. He swiped some of the remaining blood on the stone and out popped 2 vials with blood in them. He handed the 3 vials to the man before the Hokage stopped him for one last message. Also use the projection jutsu so that everyone here can see the results. Yes, Hokage-sama, yelled the man as he did the first jutsu and showed a light come from his hands where everyone could see it. Next he did his blood test jutsu. Within seconds they had their results. The light now had letters coming into it 100% matched Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Mother Kushina Uzumaki, father, Minato Namikaze. Almost every civilian councilman was using their first jutsu ever, the fish out of water jutsu. Even Iruka and Mizuki were silent. Holy hell, they're finally silent, joked the old man. Who said miracles don't happen? Laughed the blonde as most of the ninjas there laughed, that is all but the boy with the log up his ass. Guess who? And then Namikaze? Whispered out a shocked councilman. He and the other councilmen had been standing there staring at the projection of the results for over 10 minutes, along with the part of the class who hadn't heard or didn't believe who he was. Then there was the senseis, which sadly were doing the same thing. The only ones not freaking out right now were Shino, Shika, Naruto, Sarutobi, and Sasuke. Shino and Shika had decided that it was either too troublesome or the most logical point of thinking at this moment. So both believed Naruto was the 4th son. Sasuke, on the other hand, was just brooding in his seat when he realized that he was not getting all the attention from the others in the class. 4th Hokage, whispered another shocked man. I can't believe it, whispered an extremely old man who seemed like he was going to have a heart attack right there. I can't either, I can't believe it's not butter, yelled out Naruto, as the class laughed seeing him over at the side eating toast. What councilman? Can't believe that the boy you treated like shit, the boy you beat on a daily basis, the boy you had sent to the hospital 12 times in 1 week is actually the son of this village's greatest Hokage. No offense, Gigi. None taken, my dear boy. To be honest, he is my favorite Hokage as well. Laughed out the old man as the rest of the class, and even some clan heads, as they started to realize that the likeness between the 4th Hokage and Naruto was unmistakable. I mean, hell, take away the whiskers and have him grow his hair, and you have basically a mini Minato. Well, if this is the truth, then why were we not told about this already? Why is it just now coming out into the open? Why is it that the council at least has not been informed of this? If we had known, we would have yelled an angry counselor, as most of the civilian side started to agree before being interrupted. You would have what? Not sent villagers and even sometimes ninja after me to kill me, you're right. You more than likely would have done it even more just so that you all could try to control me more than you already do, which I am glad to say is not very much. Yelled an enraged Naruto. I assure you, Namikaze-san, that we have done no such thing, and we would never do this to one with such great lineage, stated a male council member who seemed to be eyeing Naruto with a contemplating glare. Yes, well, as fun as this all is, these children do have a class to get started, and I am afraid that we have taken too much of their time already. Councilman, please come with me to the council chambers, and we will start the discussion that I know you all will want to have. Naruto, as soon as school is done, I want you and Miss Q to come to the chambers. We will meet there to discuss much with you, announced Sarutobi as he led all the councilmen in a body flicker out of the room. I have got to learn that one of these days, so much easier, stated an intrigued blonde as he went back to his desk. Roll was finished being called with Sakura saying she basically wanted to rape Sasuke and Sasuke saying he basically was God on earth. All in all, just a regular day. At least it would have if everyone would quite whispering non to silent about the newly proclaimed Namikaze. The class basically covered what Iruka believed was how a ninja should act, and how this portrayed all of the students. Finally, when lunch came, everyone ran outside after being told that after lunch was the jutsu portion of the day along with a taijutsu tournament to figure where they were at. Needless to say, most of the class was excited. The whole class went out to the playground to eat the food they brought from home. Naruto was busy eating his apple that Q-chan had made sure to pack for him. At the moment he was alone because all his new friends lived nearby and decided to go home to eat. Once done with the apple, Naruto decided to train. He quickly unsheathed his 2 new swords and started on some of his katas that Kyubi had taught him during their training trip. Once he was satisfied, he sheathed his swords and found a training log. He instantly started to punch, kick, and even headbutt one at least a few times. Naruto never realized that a lot of the class's female, and a few male, members were watching what he was doing. Finally, he stopped with about 5 minutes until the bell rang. He was sweating heavily from his workout and decided to remove his dark blue muscle shirt and his new cloak that his Gigi had given him that morning. Once they were off, almost all the girls started to giggle and blush at seeing his muscle build. At his age, the amount of muscle was just unfathomable. He was no Adonis or bodybuilder, but give him a few more years and he just might be. Naruto laid the articles of clothing over the log as he decided to cool down with his meditation techniques. He quickly walked to a tree and walked up to a branch until he was completely upside down. Once there, he got into his lotus fox stance and started to meditate as he sent just the right amount of chakra to his feet to hold him there. Q-chan was very adamant in him getting better control so that he didn't waste a lot of chakra during his attacks. Naruto was so caught up in his meditations that he did not even hear one of the girls approach him until they were right under him. Naruto-can you come down here for one moment? I would like to talk to you for just a moment, yelled a very red Ino Yamanaka as she looked up to the subject of all the girls' attention. Naruto opened his eyes slowly and smiled down at the girl as he let the chakra go that was holding him onto the tree. He instantly started to fall until Naruto twisted in midair to land on his feet. The onlooking girl stared in awe and blushed even harder than ever before. Hello, I'm Ino, right? Questioned the boy as he walked with her over to the training post that held his jacket and shirt. He grabbed the jacket and unsealed 2 bottles of water from an inside seal for them as he sat down in the grass. Yes, Naruto, I was wondering what you were doing, asked the confused platinum blonde as she just stared at the boy's chest. Well, you see, Ino, I have very big chakra reserves but very little control over it. What I was doing was something a friend of mine showed me so that I could not only help grow bigger chakra reserves but also help give me better control over my large capacity that I already have. This is only stage 1 though, but I need a lot of water to practice stage 2, explained the boy as he sat talking to the girl. Oh, maybe you could show me how to do that one day? Asked the worried blonde. I'm sure, Ino, I don't see the harm in helping a fellow future ninja better themselves. So I got to ask. What was the real reason you came over here, Ino? I know that it was not to see what I was doing. If it was more than just, you would have come over here, I am sure. Before you ask, I will tell you. 1. I am a master in hiding, so your attempts at them, though good for an academy student, were not good against me. 2. When I'm in my meditation state, I enhance my hearing and almost all my other senses other than sight to the point that I could smell you all from here. I am not calling you all smelly or anything, I am just saying that most people have a certain scent to them that will very rarely change. So I ask again, what is the real reason you came over here? I am not mad, just curious, rattled the boy as the girl looked surprised that she had been caught in the act. Well, some girls over there were wondering if you had a girlfriend, yelled Ino as most of the girls now listened very intently for the answer. Well, of course I do, Ino-chan. exclaimed the blonde male as he raised his voice to make sure all the girls heard him. I have Q-chan, I am Ne-chan, and… That is not what I meant, Naruto-ken. I meant a girl you take on dates and hold hands with and KK kiss. Do you have a friend like that? Naruto adopted a thinking face as he began to really think about the question. Finally he opened his mouth to speak, but right as the first word came out, the bell to return to class rang, making almost all the girls face plant into the ground as the boy they were stalking quickly jumped up and grabbed his clothing. As he ran inside he turned to the still down Ino as he threw on his muscle shirt and yelled, "We'll finish this conversation later, Ino. Sorry, but Q-chan warned me that if I ever was late for class she'd make sure I would never forget it. See you all in class?" Troublesome, grumbled Ino as she began to walk into the classroom. She stopped after what she said registered into her brain. No, I am not ever hanging out with that lazy ass anymore. I don't care what daddy is hoping for. Classroom. Naruto entered the classroom as he noticed a pale-eyed girl he remembered in the back row stealing small glances at the blonde boy when she thought he was not paying attention. Any time he would look her way she instantly blushed and hid her face. Naruto was about to go to her to make sure that she was okay when Ino and another girl named Ami appeared in his way as if they knew the body flicker technique that Sarutobi used earlier. Naruto can come on, sit with us please, begged the females until Naruto finally caved and sat with Ino on his left and Ami on his right. Each were just staring at him as he decided to meditate more while he waited. They both watched as he sat in his chair and greeted everyone, other than Sasuke and his slightly decreased fangirl committee. This was not what surprised the girls the most though. What did surprise them though was that he called everyone by their name with his eyes closed. As if he had the Byakugan to see through his eyelids. Finally Iruka and Mizuki entered into the room and quieted the class as Naruto opened his eyes. Well class, now is the time most of you all have been waiting for. We are going to be studying ninjutsu for the next hour and a half. Now before we begin, do we have anyone here who can already perform a jutsu? You do not have to do anything if you do not want to, but you will receive extra credit if you can already do a non-clan jutsu. Now anyone know some? Asked the brown-haired man to the excited class. Naruto raised his hand, as did Sasuke and Shikamaru. This made almost everyone fall out of their seats. Seeing a Nara actually offer to do something was one sign of the apocalypse. Okay, then why don't we head out to the training grounds, and we will have a demonstration of these jutsu those three know, proclaimed Iruka as he eyed Naruto, wondering what the boy may know already. As the class got onto the field, Shikamaru stepped forward, obviously stating that he would go first. Naruto looked at him with a confused eye before he finally understood his reasoning. With a yell of Bushin no Jutsu, there were 3 Shikamarus standing before the class. Some of the class were awed by the demonstration, but a few, Sasuke, were not impressed. Once Shika had gotten a good job for effort, he went to sit by Choji so he could stare up at the clouds but still see the demonstrations taking place. Iruka stepped forward and yelled, "Okay class, let's settle down before we all get detention for disturbing the other classes. Now would NAR. I'll go before the little dope can go, that way he knows what he's up against next time he decides to attack an elite," proclaimed the Uchiha as he stepped forward and looked right at Naruto with a smirk. "Oh, I know what I am up against, Sasuke. I just know that at the level you're at I have nothing to fear from you. You're beneath me," said a very calm and smirking blonde boy as Sasuke growled and Sakura shrieked, "Baka, no one can do better than Sasuke he." "Sakura, be quiet before I am forced to give you detention. Now Sasuke, you may go since you seem very eager to do so. But if I ever catch you interrupting me again, I will have you stand in the hallway holding buckets of water for a week," proclaimed Iruka as Mizuki had already went over to the Taijutsu area to prepare it. Sasuke smirked an evil smirk as he went through the hand signs for his jutsu. Once done, he yelled out Fireball Jutsu and shot a small fireball at Naruto. Expecting this, Naruto quickly did 2 hand signs and used the substitution jutsu to trade places with the first thing he saw, Sasuke. The ball of fire flew right into his backside and lit his ass on fire, literally. As the boy screamed out in pain, he quickly flopped onto the ground and began to rub it like a dog scratching its ass. Once the fire was out, Sasuke looked to see Naruto bowing to a laughing class. With a growl of Naruto, he charged at the blonde, but before he got 2 steps, Iruka was there already catching him. "Sasuke, you have a week's detention for that little stunt. You had no reason to do such a thing and could have seriously hurt a future comrade with that fireball. If you say or do anything, I swear I will make it a damn month for each time you speak or do anything other than what you are told," yelled Iruka as Sasuke began to open his mouth to speak. Once Sasuke got it through his head to shut up and sit down for now anyway, Iruka turned to Naruto. "Naruto, you may demonstrate your jutsu now." Naruto stood, but instead of going through hand signs, he got into a thinking pose for a few minutes before he looked to his sensei and asked, "If I know more than one, can I perform them?" To a shocked Iruka. "I guess since we do not regularly have new students that know more than just the basic jutsu that are used here, I guess that would be acceptable. But if you don't mind me asking, what are the names of these jutsu? Questioned the teacher as the whole class decided to pay attention. Even Sasuke was watching as he thought of being able to copy any jutsu that may be helpful to him to impress his father. Well, I know of Futon, Katon, Normal, and Summoning Jutsu. Here, let me show you. Futon, Great Breakthrough. As soon as Naruto finished the hand signs for the jutsu and extended his hands to look like he had pushed something, a decent gust of wind knocked over some of the students. Next was his Katon Jutsu. Katon, Fire Ball Jutsu, and sent a fire ball twice the size of Sasuke's at a training post, effectively incinerating it in one shot. Thanks to him having demon chakra in his system, he had found that fire attacks became stronger with less chakra. Next came the shout with just one hand sign. Most students didn't even recognize Shadow Clone Jutsu, and 4 Narutos came into existence beside the blonde male. He ordered 3 of them to go start on the daily training. Once they had left, he sent the last one to Iruka to tickle him and prove it was a solid Bushin. How does he know these jutsu? Is he possibly talking with the demon? I must talk with the Hokage about this, thought Iruka. Finally, it was the jutsu Iruka was worried about, thinking that this may prove his theory if it summoned what he thought it may summon. Naruto went through his hand signs once more and yelled summoning jutsu. There was a puff of smoke and a medium-sized yellow fox appeared with Naruto on its shoulders. It had yellow fur except for a large patch of fur on its chest that was white, along with what looked to be purple tattoos on its legs and arms. Hello, Naruto-sama, my name is Ramadan. How may I be of service, my lord? Questioned the fox in a female's voice. Naruto laughed at all the fish out of water looks that most of his classmates had upon their face. Oh, nothing, Rami. I just needed to summon one of the fox summons to show the jutsu that I know to the class that I'm in. Thank you very much for coming today, Rami, but there is no need for you to call me Naruto-sama. Naruto, or Naruto-san is just fine. Okay? Begged the blonde. Ever since he had started summoning foxes, they had decided to call him Naruto-sama, and he hated being so formal with beings that he counted as friends and family. Of course, Naruto-sama, I will stop immediately, Naruto-sama. You have nothing to worry about, Naruto-sama. We will pass it around that you do not wish to be called this, Naruto-sama. Laughed the fox as she could not hold it in any longer. Ugh, damn foxes with their trickster ways, they never learn, do they? Now, Rami, if you continue the path you are taking, I will be forced to teach you a lesson. You do remember what happened to the last fox summons that tried to play a joke on me? Did they ever get the hot neon pink hair dye out, or are they still a fox version of Pinky over there? Asked the blonde as everyone looked where he was pointing. Oddly enough, without looking, he pointed straight at Sakura. The class laughed along with Naruto and Rami. Even Iruka looked like he was about to bust a laugh as well, but surprisingly, he kept it down. Touché, Naruto, touché. If that is all that you require, my lord, laughed the fox as Naruto just groaned and yelled, get out of here, Rami, that is all I needed you for. Very well, Naruto-sama. Laughed the happy fox as he quickly dispersed into smoke, effectively returning to Maki. Damn foxes, I'll show them who they are messing with. You don't prank the prankster, grumbled the boy as he walked to the class. Iruka, as I am sure you have questions, I will summon a clone that can explain this all to you during the tournament, but I wish that you will place a privacy seal up, that way no one else will hear things they do not need to hear. Is this okay with you? Asked the blonde as everyone was looking at both of them questioningly. Yes, I will place one up, but it may take a while. Okay, class, let's all head to the arena so that we can hold our tournament, yelled Iruka as he led the still confused class to the small area that the school had to train at. As the fight started, Naruto summoned a few shadow clones to make the seals on the ground, giving enough room for Iruka to move in slightly, but not enough that people could get inside and hear without someone knowing. Once done, they activated the seals, and the remaining clones either guarded the circle they had made or went in to explain what was needed so that he could avoid a longer conversation with the Hokage later. While this was going on, most of the fights took place. You could quickly see who had been taught already to fight and who had not. Naruto, Sasuke, Kiba, Shino, Choji, and surprisingly Hinata were doing surprisingly well. By the time the semifinals took place, all that was left was Naruto, Sasuke, Kiba, and Hinata. Hinata made quick work of Kiba with her Juken style. She quickly and efficiently took out all of his Tenketsu and sent him down with little effort. Finally, the match almost everyone was waiting for came up. Sasuke versus Naruto. Sasuke, being Sasuke, decided he had to try to taunt Naruto. You cannot win, Dobe. I am an Uchiha, an elite. You may have gotten a lucky shot in, but that was only because you tried to hit me when I wasn't aware. Force son or not, you are weak compared to the Uchiha, and as such you can never win. Naruto knew that he was trying to make him angry so that he would make a mistake instead of being calm and collected like he usually was. Sasuke got into his reversal fist fighting style. Naruto, seeing this, decided to go into his fox style of Taijutsu. With his right leg forward and bent at the waist, his left arm came up to his sternum, while his right became a fist out in front of him, ready to attack or block whenever needed. This was only Form 1 of a two-part style, but Part 2 would just make it too easy to beat Sasuke with. With that in mind, Naruto got ready. Begin, yelled Mizuki with an evil smirk, thinking that the great Uchiha clan would be able to kick the shit out of the demon. Sasuke ran forward, aiming to give Naruto a right cross to the face. Sasuke smirked when the dobe didn't move. Naruto saw it coming and waited till the last possible moment like his style demanded. Once Sasuke got close enough, Naruto jumped up and flipped over Sasuke. In midair, Naruto spun around and power kicked him right in the back of the head, sending the great Uchiha to the ground. The fallen boy kicked up to get to his feet as he got back into his stance. He then rushed at the still waiting blonde with a left cross this time. This made Naruto smirk as he decided to end this. He got down in a flash and started to dance of the Black Fox technique. He kicked Sasuke's feet out from under the team, and while the ass was falling, Naruto quickly rocketed him into the air. While the spoiled brat was rising higher and higher, Naruto kicked himself up before jumping up. Finally, he had caught up with the boy as he reached the peak of his flight. Naruto grabbed the boy's arms and pinned them to his waist as he bear hugged him. Then Naruto began to spin much like an Akimichi would do during their human boulder technique. Once near the ground, Naruto released the self-proclaimed god into the ground as Naruto slammed into him, still spinning. Once he was done, Naruto stumbled to the side and threw up his lunch from being so dizzy. Luckily, he did so on the Uchiha fan club, namely Sakura. Once he got done being dizzy, he looked into the new hole he had made to find the battered Uchiha still in the hole, knocked completely out. Mizuki was just about to call the match, saying that Naruto must have cheated because there was no way that an 8-year-old orphan could learn to do something like that. This alone pissed a lot of the students off other than the Uchiha fan club, even though they were covered in vomit. This went on for a few minutes until Iruka came up and yelled for them to be quiet. Now I know what happened and I will rectify it right now, so calm down. Mizuki, as the head teacher here, I am going to have to say that Naruto won the fight. The attack that he performed is indeed an attack. That being said, I know for a fact he can pull it off because I know exactly who it was that taught it to him, and I believe that the teacher could more than likely pull it off. As such, I call this match in favor of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Now Mizuki, go and get the Uchiha to the nurse, as I am sure he has some broken. Well, there are probably quite a few things broken in there. Now Hinata and Naruto, please step forward, yelled the brown-haired man as Mizuki grabbed the Uchiha bitch and ran to the nurse's office as fast as his legs could carry him. Hinata and Naruto looked at one another and just stared. Iruka, I forfeit, yelled the blonde as he continues to stare at the now surprised Hyuga. Hinata, I remember that day with the bullies. I helped you that day because I didn't like it when those boys picked on me, just like you didn't like it when they did it to you. I am not asking for thanks or anything along the same lines as that. All I am asking for is your friendship. That being said, again I say I forfeit this match on the grounds that I will not fight a friend. That, and I do not like to hit women, especially beautiful women with eyes like the moon, proclaimed the blonde as the Hyuga blushed heavily and nodded as she said, yes, Naruto-can, I will be your friend. Iruka-sensei, I forfeit as well as ITT2 will NN not fight a NN new FF friend. Especially O1A as HH hand some A as NN Naruto-can, stammered the lavender-eyed woman as her face just seemed to get redder and redder with each word spoken. Finally, once Iruka called the match as a tie and that he was proud of them for being such good friends and doing the polite thing to not fight a possible comrade. After he said this, Hinata done what Hinata does best, she fainted. Naruto, worried for his new friend, ran to Hinata and checked her pulse. With a sigh of relief, he informed them all that she had just fainted and that he would take his new friend to the nurse to be safe. Creating a shadow clone to go back to class for him, he picked up the heiress to the Hyuga clan and carried her bridal style to the nurse. Once there, the nurse took Hinata gently from the boy with a polite smile and laid her on the bed. Where is Sasuke? I thought they brought him here after our match, asked the blonde politely as he looked around and found that sure enough the Uchiha was missing. Oh, Mizuki-san took him to the hospital because I guess he fought an Akimichi and took one of their human boulders straight on without even flinching. Sadly, his counter-strike did not work and he got hit pretty hard. What? That's not what happened. Sasuke got that damage from me in the second to final round of our first tournament. I fought the only Akimichi in our class and he didn't even use the human boulder technique. Sasuke fell to my dance of the Black Fox level 1 technique, informed the boy as the nurse just listened and nodded. Aye, it is TT true, Miss IWW was there to SSC at HH happen, stammered the now awake Hyuga to the nurse's surprise. She knew the girl would awaken soon, but she did not think she would hear that. Yes, she had heard that they now had a son of the Yondaime Hokage in their school. She also knew that this was the boy, but to beat the Uchiha is something that few ever get the honor of doing. Even in the academy, the Uchiha were formidable fighters and rarely lost to anyone. The last Uchiha to lose a fight to a non-Uchiha was back when then it clicked in the woman's head. It had been the Yondaime and Fugaku Uchiha that had fought. The fathers of both boys were the ones that fought, with the Namikaze coming out on top just like his son. I believe you. You know Naruto, was it? questioned the nurse as she looked over Hinata one last time to be safe as Naruto nodded to confirm her question. You know that the last time a person beat an Uchiha that was outside their clan was a long time ago. Do you know who the person was to beat them and who they beat? This time Naruto shook his head wondering where this woman was going with these questions. Well, it was back when I first started working here. Fugaku Uchiha challenged a boy to a fight because he was dating the girl he liked. The boy accepted the challenge and thrashed Fugaku to pieces. To this day Fugaku hates that man and taught his son Sasuke to hate that man's son as well by the looks of it. Who was the boy that beat him, miss? Asked the blonde as Hinata nodded, showing she was curious as well. Fugaku challenged your father to a fight Naruto over a woman that came from another village when it was wiped completely off the map. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki. Naruto, that woman later on became your mother. I have walked around the town before and saw how you were treated before. I wanted to help but I could not without breaking the Hokage's law about it. I beg you to understand that I hold no ill will towards you and hope that if you ever need a patch up or just want to talk about your parents when they were in school. I always stay after school till around 5 o'clock each day, and will be honored to share some of my stories with you. I was good friends with both of your parents anyway, so I feel like it is my duty to tell you what they were like back then if you want. Explained the elderly woman as Naruto quickly hugged her and told her it would be his honor to talk with her about his parents. Finally Hinata was ready to go back to class, so they said their farewells and exited the room. As the nurse watched them go, she smiled, remembering back to all the times she had seen a blonde-haired boy and a red-haired girl walking out that exact door. As Naruto and Hinata made it to class, he dispelled his clone, getting the knowledge it had, which he quickly wrote down on a piece of paper and handed to Hinata. This is what they were talking about in class while we were away. That's so you don't miss out on anything, you know. Well, bye, Hinata, said the blonde as he walked inside to see all the kids wondering where the clone went, and finally saw Naruto enter the room. He walked up to the seat he had before, and like earlier he was grabbed by Ino and Ami and forced to sit between them during class. Hinata quietly walked up to Naruto and gave a small and quiet thank you before returning to her seat. The rest of class was uneventful for the class other than when Sasuke returned with Mizuki. He had some minor cuts and bruises from where Naruto had ran into him. All was fine until you saw him holding a bag of ice onto his private area. Apparently when Naruto threw him to the ground, he had made him spread his legs on accident, and had landed his spinning attack right on his private. This had made it where not even the doctors, with medical jutsu, make the swelling go down or the pain from coming. They were able to make sure that he was able to have a functioning penis, but that was all they could do. As Sasuke waddled to his seat with his bag of ice still on his junk, he heard some snickers, even though most guys, even Naruto, covered their boyhoods and thought of the pain he must be suffering. That, however, did not stop the laughing that came. Not a damn word from any of you, yelled the boy as he continued to his desk. He slowly lowered himself to the seat, or at least tried to. As he was trying to sit down, a boy attempted to stand and help him out of pure pity. The boy tripped and fell into the back of the chair. This made the seat of the chair fly up and into his already hurt crotch. Sweet mother of God, why me, yelled Sasuke in a high-pitched voice that only Kiba and Naruto could hear. The rest of the day was like any other. Nothing happened, and once school was out, Naruto would head for the Kage's tower with thoughts of Sasuke crying like a bitch in front of the whole class to parade around his mind. Naruto had just gotten out of the academy and was not looking forward to the meeting with the council he was headed to. Q would meet him there since he had sent her a mental message so that she would know about the outcome of his first day. Naruto still found it odd that Q and he still had the mental connection even though she had been released from the seal. Remembering what she had told him had just confused him more during their training trip. Flashback. Q-chan, I've been wondering. How is it that I still can talk with you in my mind even though you are outside the seal? I mean, shouldn't it have stopped when I released you? Asked the confused boy as he dodged another kunai from his new trainer. They had been there for only 3 days and he was already tired, as if he had been there for a month if not more. Q decided that the best way for her little student to get the most out of the new gravity seals that she had laid on him was to dodge flying weapons while having them active. This had been going on from day 1 as his clones were ordered to start the tree walking exercise. Well, I cannot say for sure, but if I had to guess, I would say that it is because you and I are so close. The mental connection usually dissolves when the jailer releases the bijou. This is because afterwards they would go their separate ways. Never before had a bijou and its jailer ever became friends. Take the Ichibi for instance. With its mind the way it is, no one can befriend it because, to be honest, he is insane. If it were released from the seal, it is, and then it would probably kill the jailer. If for some magical reason it did not kill the jailer, then it would probably go and run off away from the jail, and with it the connection would be lost. If I had to assume, then I would probably say that if we ever went extremely far apart from each other, then we would probably lose the connection altogether. Do you understand, Naruto? I think I do. So it would be like ice cream? The farther you walk with it, the less you have until it melts all the way and you're left with nothing, right? Asked the boy as he once again showed his age with his ridiculous way of thinking. Well, I guess that is one way of putting it. But enough of this, you're not paying attention, and I've managed to hit you at least 12 times. Get back to work, or we go through the night again doing this," yelled the woman as she laughed at the horrified face on the boy as he struggled to move away from the weapons she was throwing his way. End flashback. Wow, I never thought about it before, but Q-chan is a little insane when it comes to training. Well, I can't say the results are not worth it, but did she have to throw the damn thing so hard, thought the blonde/redhead, as he shuddered remembering all the cuts and bruises that he had acquired during their training trip. "It is not like you don't have excellent healing abilities anyway, Naruto, so don't complain," said QB inside his head as she reminded the boy of their mental connection once more. "Besides, I went easy on you. If you really want to see how hard I can throw, then just wait till later. We can play dodge the kunai again and again and again. Won't that be fun?" "You are trying to kill me, aren't you? If that was you going easy, I'm almost 100% sure that if you went all out that I would either be dead or close enough to it," complained the child as his face went white from the thought. "Well, then that just means we need to hurry up and get this stupid shit over with so that you can get back to training. That way I can prevent that from being so. Now look up and stop yourself from running into the pole you're about to," yelled the redhead as she watched Naruto walk in a daze before running right into the pole in the ground to allow the flag of Konoha to fly in the wind on top of it. "You know, you could have warned me about that first," yelled the blonde/redhead as he got up off the ground and rubbed the lump that was starting to come upon the top of his head, giving the woman that was now in front of him a glare showing that he was not amused. As he spoke, though, his healing abilities took effect, and before the bruise even got fully formed was already beginning to heal. "I would have, but I thought it would be better to show you just how much you need to learn to multitask more. You have to be able to talk, think, and walk all at the same time. If you cannot do that, then you will not be a very good ninja. I mean, just look over there at that man with the silver hair and the mask. He is walking, giggling, and reading porn all at the same time." Naruto got into a thinking pose and gave a dead expression to his friend. "So you want me to walk around the town with people who would jump at the chance to beat the crap out of me reading porn, Yarrow Fox?" he yelled as he smacked his friend over her head. "What? I just thought that maybe it would, well, help you with that problem you have," whispered the woman with a sad face as she looked down at the ground. "Never, and I mean ever, bring that up again, QB," the blonde growled out in a whisper only loud enough for the female fox demon to hear. Hearing the dead sound and the pain in the small boy's voice almost sent the woman to tears as she remembered just what it had cost the boy for having her sealed into him. "I'm sorry, Naruto-kun, I did not mean to bring it up. Why don't you tell that Yamanaka who did it? I mean, I understand not telling everyone about it, but that man could at least go and arrest that monster for it. If you want, I can," started the woman, trying to help as much as she could to get the boy back to normal. Little did she know that she was making it worse. "No, I alone will tell those who I think need to know when I think they need to know about it. And Noichi Yamanaka does not need to know who did what. Tome, it is bad enough it happened, let alone having to relive that moment with anyone. QB, I swear if you tell anyone I will never speak to you again," whispered the boy as he fought to rebuild his mask of calm and collected. "I promise, Naruto-kun, I will never tell anyone. I just want to help you. I mean, it only happened 6 months ago. If I had not sealed off certain places from working at certain function, they would have known anyway in 3 more. I just think that it would do you some good to know that that beast could never harm you again," whispered the woman back as she desperately tried to get him to do as she suggested. Sadly, by the time she got her sentence done with, he had already replaced his mask and was calm and collected once more. "I will not do anything about it at this moment. When I feel that justice would be done instead of being celebrated, then I will do what I must, but even with my new title and status, I believe that they would probably congratulate that thing more than get her in trouble," whispered the boy as they continued walking, finally reaching their destination. "Now, no more of this. I do not want to hear another word about it again until I am ready to discuss such things. Q. I will respect your wish, Naruto-kun, but I will not allow it to harm you any more. If the beast tries again, I will end her," whispered the woman as they reached the door to the council room. Naruto nodded with a still slightly saddened face as he knocked on the chamber's door to announce their arrival. Q got ready, knowing that she will probably be revealed and that would not end very well. The door was opened to reveal Sarutobi standing there, giving his a saddened smile, showing that it had been a long day with many headaches. "Naruto, Q, please come in and take a seat. Naruto, you are not technically a council member until you are either a Jonin or reach 17 years of age. That being said, I will allow you to sit in the Namikaze clan seat over there by the Nara clan seat. Q, you may sit beside him or by the wall there in one of those seats," explained the old man as he led them into the chambers to a darkened room with just enough light to show the 30 or so members that made up the council. Most of them were giving the children a hard glare but were trying their hardest to hide it. Besides for the Uchiha, who was openly glaring at the boy since he had been informed about his son's little visit to the hospital earlier. "Hello, councilman," stated the slightly agitated boy. He was still a little uneven with himself since Q had brought up some bad memories. "To what do I owe this honor?" Most but not all didn't catch the sarcasm in the young boy's voice, but everyone chose to ignore it since they had bigger matters to discuss. Naruto, it has come to our attention that earlier this morning it was revealed that you are the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. Is this correct? Asked a council member. Everyone there were talking in whispers at that, and made both the blonde/red-headed boy and his company very agitated that they would try to say that what they saw with their own eyes were false. Yes, I am. Why did you ask me that question, if I may ask? If I remember right, you all were there to see the jutsu, and you all know that the likeliness of one of the doctors or anyone from this village lying for me is like asking a Hokage to abandon his village. So why are you asking such a thing? Asked the still agitated boy as he glared at most of the civilian side of the room. Oh, I assure you the villagers are deeply sorry, Namikaze-san. Had we known that, started a man hidden in the shadows, before Naruto cut him off. Oh, okay, that makes it all clear right there with what you said. If they had known. So what you are saying is that basically the only reason you all are even allowing me in this chamber without calling for my own death is basically because of who my father is. Yelled an irate Naruto as he glared dangerously at the man who had spoken. Kyubi, on the other hand, was just sitting there glaring but allowed Naruto to talk as it was not her place. I am sorry if I offended you, Namikaze-san. I meant no disrespect, it is just, tried the man again before he was thoroughly stomped a new one from the boy. Oh, so now you don't mean to disrespect, but you all were okay with doing just that not even 3 months ago before you knew who I was related to? That justifies the beatings, torture, and countless other things that were done to me so that you all could kill the demon. Sorry, something there just seems like bullshit to me. Yelled the boy as most of the shinobi council tried their best not to laugh at seeing the civilians put in their place by an 8-year-old. I am sorry, Namikaze-san. On behalf of all of Konoha, as the civilian side of this council, I speak for the whole of Konoha's civilian sectors of the village. I, Koharu Udatain, beg the forgiveness of Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze for what we have all done to him. It does not excuse what all we have done to you, but I hope that in the days to pass you will see that we shall make amends for our treatment of you. Stated the elderly lady next to the Hokage to show she was the Hokage's personal advisor. Naruto looked at her with death spelled out in his eyes, but with a touch from Q and a few whispered words that no one but a few there heard, Naruto visibly calmed down by a great extent. Most were shocked as they had never seen the boy with his calm and collected face on. Most thought that the loud and happy-go-lucky mask he had worn was what he truly was. I accept your apologies, Mrs. Udatain. But know this, I may accept them, but I will never forget the crimes done to me. What has been done cannot be changed, but for the greater good of Konoha I am willing to set aside all problems for the time being. Later, tough if there are problems, I hope you will realize that out of the years that I have suffered, I have slowly gotten to the point that I will defend myself from any and all attackers. This being said, I would like for you to spread the message to all civilians. If I am once more attacked, be it by civilian or by a ninja, my friend Q and myself will not hold back from attacking and killing all that try to harm us. This is my right as a civilian and possible shinobi of the future to protect myself from harm in any way I see fit. Well, no, you know how I will see fit. I give you 2 days to spread the word, but if anything happens after those 2 days I will attack to kill. Naruto informed them as the ninja side just stared at the boy, telling them of a law that allowed to kill if he had to. That is understandable, Namikaze-san, it will be spread around as will your heritage. Now to business, announced the woman as she turned to the Hokage to see he was giving the boy a look like, holy hell boy, you did good. This slightly annoyed her, but she did not let it show. Hokage-dano, if you will please tell us as to why you have called us here again this day? Why, yes, I will. Laughed the man. You see, I want you all to know that we now have 2 great powerhouses in this village that will protect us if the need arises. But for me to tell you this information would not be fair to Naruto, so I wish that he will tell you everything that you will need to know about this. So without further ado, Naruto, if you would be so kind as to tell us everything. Naruto looked at his Jiji with a hard glare, knowing what he was wanting him to talk about. In return, the Hokage gave him a sympathetic look and nodded. Yes, Hokage Jiji, ladies and gentlemen, I will now tell you the full truth of my heritage. But before I tell you my story, I must tell you another story, explained the blonde as everyone in the chamber sat up just a little straighter and made sure that they could see the boy from where they were sitting. Before I begin, though, I ask that all of you remain silent and listen until the end. I will answer questions at the end. Once Naruto got a nod of approval from every person in the meeting, Naruto started his story. After the Second Great Ninja War, the demons known as the Bijou, or tailed beasts, roamed the lands. Some attacked villages and some just wanted to be left to have fun. Right after the Ninja War, all the Bijou were called back to the demon world known as Maki. They were summoned for a festival that they held once every 10 years. During the time that the 9 demons were in their world, another demon fox, whose name will be told later, was trying to get the 9-tailed fox, Kyubi, to allow her to go to our world when they returned. At first the great demon told her no, but the demon fox was very adamant on going with them. Finally, when the day came that they were going to head back to this world, the QB finally relented and allowed the young fox to come with them. They opened the dimension portal and came out around Whirlpool Village. Once there, they used what they called an ultimate demonic henge. This henge was so powerful that it allowed the demons to actually shape-shift into their human forms so that they could go and interact with the villagers. The small demon fox was doing the henge but messed up on the hand sign for it, and made it where it did not shape-shift her into a mortal form. No, this jutsu she used actually trapped her inside a mortal body. Once she realized her mistake, she was ashamed of herself. She still had her immense demon chakra and speed and all that. But sadly she could not go into her fox form. Ashamed and depressed, for she knew that until she died in the mortal realm she could not go back to her realm, she decided to go and die the honorable way. She ran from her friends she came with to a village that is no longer around. She went to the village known as Whirlpool Village and became a genin. Sadly, she did not realize that yes, she had her immense healing abilities still with her, but they had decreased in power greatly. As Whirlpool slowly died from the toxins in the air from the wars, she slowly began to get the curse as well. Finally, when the last of the villagers were dead and she was all that was left, she prepared to die too. At this time, the Yondaime had his genin team and was on his way to Whirlpool to look for survivors. What he found was a beautiful woman among the ash of the village. He brought the woman as quickly as he could to the village and to my godmother Tsunade Senju. My godmother made a once-in-a-lifetime cure that would give the woman an immunity to the toxins. Sadly though, she warned that if she ever got sick again then the curse could come back and the cure she had made would not work again. This was of no worry to the woman as she would never truly be sick. Her immune system worked that well with her demon powers. After she was released from the hospital she came to Gigi here and asked to become part of this village. She did not reveal what she was for fear of being thought of as only a demon. Gigi agreed to this and allowed her to become a jonin of the village. She may have been a genin in Whirlpool, but that was only because she had chosen to become that there. She quickly made a name for herself, and was named one of the best kunoichi in this village. It was actually debatable if she was better than Tsunade. Now is when I will tell you her name for those of you who have not figured it out. The name of the woman who was actually a demon in hiding, was none other than Kushina Uzumaki. My mother was the demon hidden as a woman of this village. She was known as the Red Death of Konoha and was almost as famous as my father. Now my mother and found that it was my father who had saved her from her poisonous home. With this knowledge she set out to find him. Once she thanked him in the way all demons do. When a demon is thankful for something that you did for them or another demon, they bow and then kiss the person. Well, since I really didn't want to know the full details, the basics of it is that they fell in love. When Minato Namikaze found that he needed an heir to his clan, he decided to wed my mother. On their wedding night she told him what she was, and to her surprise he did not run but actually hold her closer to him. That night my mother underwent a ritual with my father. She turned him into what the demons call a demi, half demon half mortal. This was to ensure that any children that they had were at the very least a demi, and that there was no way that they would ever have a mortal child. They did this because when a demi or a demon dies in the human realm, their soul is not taken to the afterlife like mortal souls. They are actually taken to Maki, where they are turned into at the very most a three-tailed fox. Soon Kushina got pregnant with a child. She was so happy that she forgot Tsunade's warning. She had said that should Kushina ever get sick again she would more than likely die from the toxin's return. Sadly, this also meant that if she ever got her immune system to not work as well, it could happen as well. This is true for becoming pregnant as well. Her immune system was then weakened due to her physical state. She held back the poison with all her might until the baby was born. This is around the time the Nine Tails attacked. Well, from there you can all probably guess the rest. I was that baby, and I am not a demi, I am a full-blooded demon. But before you grab the pitchforks and torches, I will ask you all to listen to the next story intently. Now, as you all know, the QB attacked the day that I was born, and it was sealed inside of me by my father at the cost of his life. That is what you all have been told, but there is more to it. The QB had become great friends with Kushina after they met again when she was on a mission to the Sand Village. When the Nine Tails found out that she was dying, she was heartbroken. In the state of pain that she was in, she was all but defenseless. The week before my birth, a man with red eyes and an evil laugh came to the Nine Tails. He placed a powerful genjutsu on the demon, and since she was in the state that she was in, she could not fight it. This genjutsu made her see her friend in the Leaf Village being attacked by the villagers. She quickly rushed to the village in her confused state, and was ordered under the genjutsu to destroy it. Once she got here, my mother had just passed away, so she was unable to pull the demon from its pain. My father rushed to stop it but knew that there was only one way to do so if he could not reach it in the state that it was in. He tried many times to get the QB to realize that it was under the control of someone, but the demon would not listen. Finally, he sealed the demon inside his newborn son and died that day. From that day forward, the boy was beaten, spit at, kicked out of stores, and kicked out of orphanages, and much, much more. One day the boy gets told that he will become a ninja and everything will be alright. The night he is told this, he meets his tenant and comes to befriend it. After many hours of talking and hanging out, the boy finally realizes that he has made the only true friend he has ever known. Now, when the boy also finds out about what he is, he decides to do the only thing that he can do for his new friend. He releases the demon from her jail. This had to be done before the boy's 14th birthday, or he would have lost his demon chakra and the only thing he has left to tie himself to his mother's memory. He then trains with his new friend for almost 2 full months so that he can become the best ninja that he can be. And now both demons are in this very room. As Naruto finally finished, he looked around the room and found that all the counselors of both sides of the room were immensely scared as they glanced at the red-headed girl the blonde/red-headed boy had brought with him. Q stood up and decided that this was now her turn to talk. I know that you all will think that I am here to finish the job I was forced to do. I am only here to inform you of this. I mean this village no harm. Naruto for some reason can still call this village home even after all that you have done. And believe me, I know everything that has been done because I was there to see it be done to him. I was there to heal the damage that was dealt to him. I give my word that I will not harm this village as long as it does not harm me or my new friend. Also, I will defend this village alongside him if the time arises that I must do so. But should the day come that he can no longer call this place home because of anyone in this village, I will rip this village to shreds and burn the remains so that no one will ever be able to live in this area again. Should he be pushed out of here without him wanting to go, I will personally skin the people who make it happen. And should this council think that they will order me or my friend around more than what any normal ninja would be ordered, I will RIP them apart piece by piece with my own claws," yelled the woman as she dropped her henge and showed them her demon form. Yes, it wasn't as intimidating as it would have been had she been given back her old body, but it still had the desired effect on all the elders, as almost all of them either shit or pissed themselves at the sheer amount of killing intent that was being thrown around the room at this point. As the councilmen nodded their heads, one who was minimally affected by the killing intent stood to ask a question. "Hello Kyubi-san, my name is Danzo and I have one question for you. How do we know that you will not break that vow? I understand that a demon's word is powerful but not outright. What is to stop you from destroying us once our guard is down?" asked the now revealed man with a cane and bandages over the left side of his body. "Well, Danzo-san, because I have just made a blood pact with the whole of this village. If you did not notice that when I said that I swore on my power, I cut my hands with my claws to make blood fall onto the ground for it." Most of the counselors looked at the hand and realized that she was telling the truth. "Well, that seems well enough then," stated the man from before as he sat back down looking pleased. "Well then, we shall now continue," shouted the Hokage as everyone calmed down. It was going to be a long day. Naruto sat in the council meeting after they had finished their long discussion of who was who and what was what. All he could think was, thank Kami I'm not a jonin yet. The whole entire time they had been inside the chamber, the council members had done nothing but argue over who got what and what went where. He had only been in on one meeting and he already realized that the old man had given the civilians way too much power. They demanded things that even the Hokage was shocked about. The sad part about it all was that they had laws that allowed them to get the things that they wanted. Naruto knew that once he was Hokage that things would have to change one thing or another. Kyubi, on the other hand, was not paying attention to the proceedings. Her mind was on other things. Kyubi told Naruto that he could not hide things from her until the mental connection was removed. This was not true, she knew how to do it, and to be honest it wasn't that hard, but she didn't want Naruto to know. If he knew, then she would lose her connection to him, and not be able to talk whenever she wanted to. At this moment though, that was the farthest thing from her mind. She put up her mental barriers and started to think. If I am correct, and I usually am, Naruto is the last living member of a basically dead clan. If this is so, then he will be put under the CRA where he must get 10 wives at least. If I were to tell Naruto-kun how I feel, then maybe he will allow me to be one of the girls. I mean, I have been his friend longer than anyone here. Hell, I'm the one that took care of him his whole entire life. If that doesn't get me a spot in his little girl escapade, then I do not know what will. As the council continued to fight over some little trivial thing, after about an hour of sitting there listening to the constant bickering, they finally decided to go to the next major topic on the to-do list. The topic at hand was something that made the Kyubi very happy and made Naruto very freaked out. "Now, since Namikaze-san has come out into the open, there is only one last thing that we must do today," stated Koharu Yuditane, as she stood up and addressed the other members of the village's council. As we all know, during the Shodai Hokage era there was a law passed that stated, and I quote, "Should a member of a clan be found that they are the last living descendant of their clan will be forced to partake in polygamy. This is a type of relationship that makes the person take on more than one wife. In this case, Naruto, being the last living descendant of the great Namikaze clan, will be made to partake in more than at the very least 10 wives. There can be more, and more will be ordered to be found if this council finds that he has not gotten the set amount of wives, and at least 2 of them must be impregnated by the time he turns the age of 23. If he finds that he is unable to acquire the proper amount of woman, then this council will then take action and find the woman for him. This is to protect the great clans of Konoha that have bloodlines or jutsu that are only able to be used by family members. In this case, it would be the Hiraishin no Jutsu that the 4th Hokage was so famous for. We must keep this ability in the village because it is a deterrent to the Land of Stone, IWA. They took heavily casualties in the Third Great Ninja War. This will make them very hesitant to attack the village knowing that we may have another person who may be able to do this. 1 second counselor, stated a fat councilman, who Naruto knew owned many of the grocery stores in the village. Many times Naruto had tried to buy food at his stores and had been thrown out because of the man's hate for him. How are you sure that the boy can even learn the Hiraishin, let alone preform the jutsu like his father? The way I see it is that since there is no record on how to do this technique, then there is no way for him to learn it. The other counselors thought about it for a minute and realized that the fat baster was right. None of them had ever seen a scroll say anything on how to perform the jutsu, let alone how to make the seals on the kunai. This made a lot of people nod their heads as they realized that they could not have Naruto learn it. Hell, how is the boy even supposed to learn that jutsu when the 4th Hokage's other prize technique cannot even be learned? The Rasengan was just as famous as the Hiraishin jutsu. If he cannot even learn that jutsu, what makes you think he could learn the one that is even more difficult to learn? Why don't you let me talk and not act as if I am not here? Naruto stated as he was getting more and more angrier at the fat asshole's words. How dare he think that I am unable to learn my father's prize techniques? I'll show them all, thought the blonde as he stood and made his way to stand before them all. He then crossed his fingers in the right-hand sign and called out his favorite jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Once done, everyone was looking at 2 perfect-looking Narutos. Finally, the real Naruto stuck out his hand and concentrated chakra in it. The blue/red-looking spiritual energy started to dance around his hand before the clone started to wave his hands into it. Slowly a ball was formed. The clone dissipated and there was Naruto holding the jutsu the fat asshole had just proclaimed was impossible to do. Naruto had been working on this technique since he had first gotten the scroll. Every day he had sent out at the least 6 clones to work on it, and this was what he had gotten for his efforts. Yes, he had to use a clone to form it, but after he was done forming it, he could hold it on his own. Once he got better control over his chakra, then he would be able to form the jutsu all by himself. As Naruto held the jutsu in front of him, all the counselors stared. Here was a boy almost 9 years old, and he was sitting there holding the jutsu that had first made his father well known. Little by little the counselors started to change whose side they were on. If Naruto could perform the Rasengan, then there was little doubt in their mind that he could also learn the Hiraishin with a little time. Naruto-kun, if I may be so bold as to ask how you learned that jutsu? The only ones we know of that can actually do that technique is Kakashi Hatake, your father's only remaining student, and Jiraiya of the Sannin, and even they cannot do it that often without going into chakra exhaustion from the effort. Kakashi himself can only do the technique once per day, and even that makes it where he is almost completely wiped out afterwards. How is it that you, a boy of barely 9, can do it and just stand there like it is nothing to you? Hayashi Hyuga asked as almost all of the ninja council nodded, showing that they would like the question answered as well. Naruto sighed as he got ready for that fallout from the thing he was about to say. Taking a deep breath, he released the spiraling orb of energy and allowed for some of the chakra that was left over to come back into his system. Well, when I came to Gigi the day I found out about my parents, I was given the items he left me with him. In those items are the Namikaze Uzumake libraries. Not all of them, but all the important ones is how Dad put it. Inside another item though were the instructions on how to preform both the Rasengan and the Hiraishin. That scroll also contained thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of the special kunai that he used to perform the later said jutsu. As the boy had guessed, the councilmen and women were shocked to hear this news. Once it had settled and they started shouting out things almost immediately. You have all that right now? You need to share these jutsu with the village so that we may better all our ninja, stated the fat man that had spoken before about his doubts. Are you insane? Yelled another towards the fat man. You are new, we'll give you that, but even you should know that all the high-ranked prisoners we tested the one kunai that we had on almost immediately died from absolutely no chakra left in their system. There is a seal on the kunai that will literally sap everything out of any person trying to use them other than Minato. Since Naruto has his blood inside his, he should be able to use them. Although when you try them, Naruto-kun, I would suggest using a shadow clone to be safe, stated Hayashi. This got a polite nod from the boy for the information that he was now given. The fat counselor instantly shut the hell up and sat back fuming that he could not get the jutsu for his family. We are getting off topic, people, stated the Kage as everyone calmed down. Once everyone was silent, the old man cleared his throat. Once he was done with that, he announced, now we will vote on if Naruto here shall be made to partake in the Clan Restoration Act, or CRA for short. Those in favor of having this done. As the Hokage said this, all the clan leaders and most of the civilians rose their hand, though the Uchiha did so begrudgingly. Since it is already over the needed amount for the CRA to be placed, I will go ahead and pass this. With that, the old man brought the paper towards him that he had been writing out the whole time, and stamped his seal on it, making it official. Motion carried. Now, Naruto, I would like for you to go. You have school tomorrow, and I would hate for you to be too tired to get there on time. With a smile, Naruto said, Yes, Hokage Jiji. Counselors, I am sorry to say that I think you are going to be here for quite some time, but I gladly take my leave. Naruto and Q then stood up and walked out the door as they saw more than one envious look at them being allowed to leave and them being forced to stay there. Some though were not so envious, but actually mad that he had basically not only slapped more than one person in the room across the face but also showed that he was not the dumbass they all took him for. Not to mention that he also had verbally stomped a new asshole for most of the people in the room. Finally, Naruto and his red-headed friend was out of the chamber, and in the hallway that would lead them out of the Hokage Tower. As they walked in silence. Neither of them knew what to say to the other because neither of them wanted to say something before the other. Finally, biting the kunai, Naruto decided to speak first. Sadly, so did Kyubi. Q-chan, I want, yelled the boy. Naruto-kun, I love you, yelled the girl. At that, both went silent once more. The only thing that was different was that they had both stopped walking. Neither of them knew what to say again. Finally, Kyubi decided to explain everything to him. Naruto, I have been inside you for a long time. In that time I have seen you get beat up, thrown out of stores, glared at by villagers, and so much more. I have had to sit by and allow them to do that to you because of me, and all I could do was heal the damage. Through all that and more, though, you took it. Then when you found out the reason why it was all done to you, you sit there and hug me. No man has ever done that. My own father would not even hug me because he saw it as a sign of weakness. Yet you, a small child that was hated because of me for something way out of your control, still tried to comfort me. You gave me hope that one day I would be able to repay you for all the niceness you have shown me. I don't love you because you were nice to me, but because you did not have to be, but you were. You're good looking, even for an 8-year-old, you are nice, you think about everyone but yourself, and your dream is to protect those you care about. That is the reason why I love you, Naruto-kun. When she was done, the boy was confused. He didn't really understand what all had just happened. But what he did understand was that finding these 10 girls may not be as hard as it looked. As he looked on, he started walking again. Kyubi saw this and looked saddened at the fact that he had said nothing, but did not press the subject. It was what he didn't say that hurt her the most. As they walked, Naruto thought, Kyubi didn't know that one night he used their link to find out how to block other people from his mind. He had not used this against her before because he had no reason to. As they walked, though, he had his defenses up and was thinking, I wonder how long she would last? Judging by the look on her face, not much longer, but I will ride this one out. I want to see what will happen when I continue to say nothing. Almost 30 minutes later, the two children both arrived back at Naruto's apartment. He had not moved into his parents' old house. He was going to wait until the 2 days were up now so that everyone knew who lived there and didn't start a load of bullshit. As both of them walked in, Naruto turned from his friend to lock the door behind him, just a nervous tick thing that he had acquired from way back when he was still hunted like the Christmas feast. As he had just finished locking the door, he felt a bad feeling wash over himself, sending shivers down his spine. Slowly he turned around to face a hurt Kyubi. She had guessed his answer had been the silence that had ensued after she had confessed her feelings for him. She wanted him to return them to her, but now she just wanted him to tell her why. As Naruto looked at her, he raised an eyebrow. Never before had the young boy seen a Kyubi look so hurt. This was the queen of demons, the strongest bijou in the world, and also the strongest female he had ever seen. But at this moment she looked like she had just been told her favorite goldfish had just died. What? Was his suave response at seeing his first friend so hurt. In this state of mind, she could not get up her mental shields, and as such she couldn't stop Naruto from finding out why she looked so depressed. Sadly, she picked the wrong day. Naruto already had a headache from the council meeting, was still a little thrown aback by her confession, and still had to do his homework tonight before he went to bed. Needless to say, he was not going to make it easy on her just because she had that look on him. Yes, he felt bad, but he was just not in the mood to coddle a person. If they wanted answers, they would have to find them. He was not going to just give it to them. What? Stated Q in disbelief. I tell you my feelings and you sit there and say, what? By the end of the sentence she was seething anger at him. No, I did not. I am not sitting, I am standing, but I did say what? Now again I ask you, what, Q-chan? What is it that you want from me? Is it love? I am 8 years old, I don't know the meaning of the word. Do you want companionship, until I am ready to give love? I am able to give you that, but I am not sure exactly if I know how to truly do that. Do you want to be one of the 10 girls I have to marry? You can be if you want, since you just made the standards if you say yes. My stipulations are that all the girls choosing to do the CRA thing, they have only 2 stipulations that they must pass to get an okay from me. 1, they have to actually care about me and not just my name, or who my parents were, or what bloodline I may have. You just proved that by saying that you love me. I have known for a while you have because you send messages in your sleep. But I decided not to say anything until you were ready to talk about it. 2. They willingly come to me and say that they want to be one of the 10. I will marry for nothing less than love, and if they cannot give that, then neither can I, nor will I marry them. All you have to do is say yes, Q, and later on down the road, if you still feel the same way, then I will give it a try. You cannot expect an 8-year-old boy to know how to love. Especially if that boy is me. I do care about you, Q-chan, but I cannot love you till I know you more. I know very little about you at the moment. I know that will change given the right amount of time, but at the moment I do not love you, Q-chan. I like you for sure, but love is just too foreign to me that I can just instantly know what it is and how to give it to someone. Now, what do you want from me? Finished the blonde/redhead as he just stared blankly at the red-headed female. She knew this look all too well. She had seen this look before, when he had talked to the Hokage about 6 months ago about what had happened to him. The whole time he had talked and explained what he remembered from that night, he had a face on himself that looked like nothing QB, and the old man hoped they never had to see on the boy again. It looked as if the Shinigami had come to the earth and stole the happy and joyful face Naruto usually had and replaced it with the most opposite that he possessed. I do want to be one of the 10 that you need. I understand more than anyone can. I understand why you cannot easily fall in love with someone. Naruto, I do not want to make you mad, but why don't she start it again? Now that she knew he at least cared a lot more than some of the people that he knew, she wanted to see if she could get him to talk to someone about that night. Sadly, she would have to try even harder than that. QB, I suggest if you do not want my answer to change, you no longer bring that up or try to bring that night up. It is bad enough that that night happened. I do not need to relive it. I warned you once today about bringing that up. Now I will remind you one last time. QB, if you ever bring that night up again, I will personally tear you to shreds one way or the other. Now I have homework to do, I am hungry, and I am tired, not to mention I must wake up early again for tomorrow. I would like to be in bed by 10 tonight, which is in 2 hours. I am going to the table, I will do my work, eat, and then shower. I suggest you stay away from me until it is time to sleep. I do not think you will like what you see if you continue to follow me around at the moment. Naruto said all this as he walked over to get his bag. As he bent down to pick it up, he looked back out to Kyubi, who was just standing there once again, seeing the face she prayed to Kami that she would never have to see again. All she could do was nod her head. By the time she got to the second nod, Naruto had already turned around without giving a second look towards her. She decided that since he was eating and doing homework, she would get a bath. She quickly left the room so that Naruto would not see her if he had to come back in to get something. As she got the water ready, she got undressed. She still missed her old body but felt good that she and Naruto would hopefully grow old together. Well, that could happen if she learned to keep her mouth shut about nights like that. It had taken her almost 3 weeks to heal Naruto enough for him to wake up, and another week to actually allow him to go home. Of course, he didn't want to talk about it. She would wait. He had told her that morning right before the meeting that he would tell someone what had truly happened when he thought that justice would be served. I just hope that will happen soon, thought Kyubi as she just stood there letting the warm water pour down on her to relieve some tension. As this was going on in Kyubi's head, Naruto's was spinning. He had already pushed the previous conversation out of his mind but now had a bigger problem. Math. If 12 kunai are thrown at 12 miles an hour and 13 shuriken at 17 miles an hour and 1 smoke bomb at 11 miles an hour, which will hit the blast point first, and which one traveled the most distance with the least amount of speed? How the fuck am I supposed to know that? How is anyone supposed to know that? I mean, come the heck on, we have only been in the academy for a day, and they are already giving us these kind of questions. I will have to ask Irika about that tomorrow, thought the blonde as he read the next question. He never realized that he had gotten a paper that was meant for a higher class man that had accidentally been dropped on his desk. Naruto had finally had enough. It was almost 11 at night when he finally wrote the answer to the final question. It had taken him forever to find out how to solve the advanced paper's questions. Had it not been for Kyubi finally waiting long enough before she walked in to get something to eat, he would still be on the first problem. She had walked in because she was finally hungry enough to actually take whatever came her way from the probably still pissed off Naruto. When she got in, he was oddly quiet, and she stole a glance at the blonde/redhead. She had expected anger, but what she got almost made her laugh her ass off. He was staring at the page like he thought that if he stared at it long enough that it would disappear. Sadly for him, it stayed there no matter how intently he stared. Kyubi then took pity on the boy she loved and showed him how to work out the problems, but not before mentioning that this was advanced Jonin questions. Some of these things seemed like stuff even the Hokage might have trouble with. By the last question, she had already deduced that one of Naruto's teachers wanted him to fail. That was why he had gotten such an advanced paper. Sadly for them, Kyubi had been a ninja at least 317 times in her 10,000 years of living. She was a Jonin 139 times in all those times. The only reason she wasn't a Jonin on the other times were because someone tried to say they had seen her before or that they had records that she lived like 100 years ago. Needless to say though that she could easily answer the questions. Most of them were Jonin exam test questions, so she had seen it almost 139 times. By the time they were done though, both were immensely tired. As Naruto had been working on the problems, and she had been explaining them to her blonde/red-headed love, Kyubi put on some instant ramen and started to cook it. Once done, Naruto had finally finished, and was sitting with his head in his hands. His idea was that he was going to go to bed at 10, but that did not seem like it was going to happen tonight. As they both ate in silence, Naruto was deep in thought. Finally he decided to voice that thought. "Q-chan, I am sorry. You are just trying to help, but I know that if I tell someone now, then the monster involved will not be brought to justice but praised. I cannot go through that again. Everyone's staring at me for no reason. Besides, you say you stopped her plans, so it's whatever, for now. One day I will tell Inoichi, or the old man, but right now is not the right time. I hope you understand. You did not mean to be so rude to you earlier. It is just that when people bring up that night, I have to relive it over and over again, and that is something that I cannot do right now. Please just do not bring it up again. You are my very first true real friend, so I do not want you sad all the time because I am mad at you. I don't like being mad at you. Just come and no more talking, let's just go to bed please," begged the boy as he stood up and waited for his friend to stand up and grab his hand with hers. Naruto tensed for a minute, feeling her hand in his, but he remembered who it was that was guiding him to the room. He finally snapped out of it as he got ready for bed. He took off everything but his boxers and his undershirt, and climbed into the bed. Kyubi did the same, but with her panties and her undershirt. This again caused him to tense, but when she stopped and rose her hands up to show she would not hurt him, he calmed once more. He turned on his side, not looking her way, and that broke her heart, but the next moment, he had grabbed one of her hands with his own and made her sleep right up against him with her hand resting between his hand and his pecs. The only thing separating her hand from his heart was his skin. Kyubi smiled and snuggled closer to him as she felt his heart beat harder than normal, but she knew that would pass in a little while. She instantly fell asleep with him beside her, and didn't notice that in front of her was a boy forcing himself not to let go of her hand, and had a look that screamed fear upon his face. He had blocked his memories and thoughts from hers so that she could not tell what he was thinking. Had she been able to see his face, and was awake, she would have known that it took him hours to finally fall asleep. The next day, Naruto had awoken early that morning, but immediately he felt immensely proud of himself. He looked down and noticed that Q-chan's hand had remained in his own the whole night. He was so happy that a big grin spread across his face. He had slept next to a female last night with her touching him in a nice manner, and he did not let it get to him as much as it would have before. Was he ready for sex? No, but at least sleeping next to Q-chan would not be as hard anymore now that he had done so with her touching him. He looked at the clock and noticed that he was awake about 5 minutes before his alarm went off. Deciding to get up and get ready, Naruto slowly tried to remove Kyubi's hand from his own. The only thing that didn't work was getting her to let go of his hand. She had like a vice grip on it, as if letting it go would kill her. It not only made Naruto very happy but also made him very mad. He was trying to get up without her waking up, but she was not letting go that easily. Finally the mental light bulb up top flicked on and an idea formed. Quickly doing the one-handed hand seals, Naruto performed the substitution jutsu. He replaced himself first with a cup on the ground, making sure to only put the bare minimum of chakra into the jutsu so that it would not release smoke. Before she even got to truly feel the cup, he had already switched it out with his pillow. It was kind of cute to watch as she breathed in his scent and snuggled even deeper into it. Naruto slowly grabbed a black undershirt, along with black umbu pants, and his black ninja sandals. Once he had gotten the items he needed, Naruto made his escape from the room. Finally he was out of the room and in the kitchen. He had just gotten dressed and was already getting breakfast made. Kyubi and Naruto had gone grocery shopping when they got back from the training trip. With almost 2 months of money that he got for being an orphan, he was able to get just a little more than he usually got. With it he had gotten enough eggs so that the 2 children could have a large breakfast for a little while. He quickly made an omelet for himself and Kyubi along with some bacon and toast. He put it all on a side table that he had gotten out of the trash a while back. He had cleaned it thoroughly and made sure it was looking brand new before he even thought about using it. He then went and got a glass of milk and a glass of orange juice. He set all the items for his friend onto the table and slowly made his way to his room. Once inside, he sent a mental message to her to wake up. Kyubi slowly opened her beautiful red eyes. Naruto could not help but stare at her eyes as she tried to blink herself awake. "I made you breakfast, Q-chan," stated the boy as he slowly laid the table down so that it lay just a little bit above her lap but high enough for her to sit up and eat. She was shocked for a minute and then smiled warmly. "You didn't have to do this, Naruto-kun, but thank you," she whispered barely loud enough for him to hear. "Well, I have got to go or I will be late," stated the boy as he quickly grabbed his bag and strapped on his shoes. As he exited the house, he stopped and grabbed the last items he needed. He grabbed his cloak that the old man had given him and his 2 swords. In seconds all three things were strapped on him, and he was ready to go. With one last goodbye he rushed up the little wall he had to the roof and started to jump from one to another. This made it very easy to make it to the academy on time. As he walked into the classroom most people gave him a hello or a smile, although Shino gave him a nod. The only two not to do this was the once great and mighty Uchiha clan member, and his screaming banshee. They both glared at him, but since the pink-haired whore was too weak to even pose a threat to him, she was no problem just to shrug off. The Uchiha's look might have worked a little bit better, but it was kind of thrown off with the black eye and the busted lip that was still healing. Not to mention that when he got up and started walking over to Naruto he was slightly bow-legged and had a slight limp to it. He however forgot this as he jumped into the air and landed onto the desk that Naruto was in front of. They both just glared at each other until Sasuke got hit in the back by another student and fell face forward. This would not be bad had there not been a surprised blonde in front of him. Everyone stopped and stared as the two boys' eyes widened. Although Sasuke's didn't near as much and he started to raise a hand to touch Naruto's cheek. Just as Naruto was about to snap out of it, they heard a yell about something called the Flames of Youth. Finally, after a few seconds of one person having a shocked kiss, Naruto finally reeled back and Rasengan Sasuke right into the balls. "What the hell, you gay motherfuck," started Naruto as Iruka walked in and saw Sasuke on the ground holding his tentacles. Naruto had lowered the lever so it was basically like getting hit in the balls with an aluminum bat. "Enough, Naruto, take a seat. Kiba, take Sasuke to the nurse and possibly the hospital." Kiba groaned as he got his orders but still got up and grabbed the boy and lifted him into the air. Kiba then laid the hurt boy onto his shoulders and ran out the room down to the nurse's office. Everyone in the classroom was silent that day and no one would ever speak about that day for a long time. It had been 2 days since the kiss had happened. Naruto and Sasuke had finally agreed on something. They both agreed to act as if it never happened. Sadly, this was made hard to do by Kiba, who kept bringing up the fact that they had both shared their first kiss together. It was then that Naruto was happy that he had found a little bit of good in the whole situation. Flashback. Naruto had just come home from school and told Q what had happened. After she had laughed, even though she was sad that the Uchiha had gotten the first kiss, all had been quiet for a moment. Then it had finally set in and Naruto shouted out happily. "This is awesome!" yelled the excited boy as he turned to Q, who had a shocked look on her face. "Naruto, how is kissing Sasuke awesome? I mean, I have no problem if you feel that way towards men, but common the Uchiha? Really?" said the fox/girl as they sat down. Naruto started dry heaving at the thought. "Q-chan, I am not frickin' gay. Thank you, and even if I was gay I would defiantly not choose that asshole. Sorry, I am not a Sasuke fan club member," shouted the grossed out boy as he finally realized just what she was talking about. Q laughed and nodded her head before speaking. "Then what were you talking about, Naruto-kun? I mean, what good could come out of kissing Sasuke?" said the girl as she got up to make dinner. "Well, when that incident happened I got angry and did the one thing I could think of. I made a low-leveled Rasengan and shoved it into his crotch. But I just realized that I did that without the use of a clone. Now all I have to do is go over what I did at that moment, and I can probably pull it off again," shouted the ecstatic blonde/redhead. "You are going to go over it again?" stated the girl to make sure she had everything right. After the question, Naruto nodded, and after that, you are going to try to recreate it? Again a nod. At this, Q smiled, having him trapped. "Okay, so you admit that you're gay and are trying to get another kiss from Sasuke. Since you're thinking about it again, you're trying to recreate it, and you're excited about what happened today, am I right?" stated the woman as Naruto nodded absent-mindedly. "That's rig. Hey, wait just 1 minute. I am not gay," Naruto yelled as he had a cold chill run down his spine. "Oh, you are you? What you just said would counteract that," stated the woman as her love fell into her little traps she was playing him into. "I am not gay. Cammy, damn it!" yelled the boy once more. "Then prove it, why don't you?" started the girl as she tried to get at least one more laugh out of him before she stopped. Later on in life she would look back and think about this day. This day where Naruto had enough of her jokes and finally decided to do something about them. Naruto stopped her mid-sentence and grabbed the redhead's neck and brought it close to his, shocking her at his actions. "Fine, I will prove it to you," whispered the boy in a husky-sounding voice, one that was filled with anger and determination. The next thing that the blonde/redhead did shocked both of the occupants in the house. Naruto had kept his hand on the back of Q's neck and smashed his lips to hers. Both just stood there for a moment as the shock settled over them. Q would never admit it, but not many men had ever kissed her. Yes, she had some boyfriends back in the demon realm, but no human had ever kissed her. She felt the butterflies flutter in her stomach as she kissed him back. Naruto, on the other hand, had to steel his nerve to stop himself from pulling back. He was a little startled at what he had done, but now that he was already doing it, he would not stop. She had challenged him, and he was not one to walk away from a challenge. After a few minutes, they both felt the tug from the need for air. They separated for a moment, breathing heavily, though they did not separate their foreheads from the others. After a moment to catch their breath, they let each other go to step back. Neither of them said anything about it for the rest of the night. Once it was time for bed, they again slept together, with Naruto holding onto her hand while he pressed it into his chest. The only difference was that it did not take Naruto as long to fall asleep as it did the other night. End flashback. It had been 2 days since then, but neither of them had spoken about the kiss. School had been normal, and Sasuke was now avoiding Naruto completely. This would have made Naruto happy, but it seemed that he always seemed to run into him whenever Naruto turned the corner. Surprisingly though, Sasuke did nothing but apologies and walk away. This happened quite often, but did not freak the blonde/redhead near as much as the looks he kept giving Naruto when he thought Naruto wasn't looking. That was all the blonde/red-headed demon child needed to start to feel weirded out by the Uchiha. Naruto remained at the top of his class, and this seemed to attract the opposite sex quite a bit. Kiba had said that it was because Naruto was showing that he was the alpha male in the class. Today, however, was the day Naruto and Q had been awaiting. Today was the day that they had agreed to move into the Namikaze/Uzumaki household. The old man had told them that he would take them there along with one other person that he said he trusted completely. While they waited outside the Hokage's office, a man with weird clothes and spiky white hair that went down his back came up to them and sat down not very far away. As they sat there silently waiting, Naruto decided to check this man out. Not in the gay kind of way, but in the who the hell is this guy kind of way. The man looked to be about in his 50s, with pure white hair and a headband with the kanji for oil inscribed on it. He had a wart on the left side of his nose with twin red streaks going down from the bottom of his eyes till they reached the end of his face. In a way, he looked like an Inuzuka. Next, Naruto looked at his outfit and saw that he wore what looked like a green robe top, with matching umbu pants. He had a kunai holster on his right hip, and a large scroll sitting beside him against the wall. Naruto then took notice of his red overcoat and red wooden sandals. All in all, he was a very weird-looking man. "If you are going to continue to observe me, then do I have the right to ask as to why you are doing it?" stated the man in a deep voice that sounded like it was deep with wisdom. The only thing unsettling Naruto was that the man had never even looked at him and had known that he was observing him.